Okay. How about now? Let's see. Yes, there we go. Okay, so I've been talking to myself, like I usually do, because I don't check to make sure that everything's connected, because my computer loves to fuck with me. Like, anytime it shuts off, it resets my gain all the way down to 10. Like, explain to me how that fucking works. All the way down to 10? Really? I don't know. Half the time, I can't even remember. But I'm glad that I figured it out before they started to go live. So let me get a real quick word in as fast as I can. This is pretty much going to be a questionnaire type thing. We are probably over maybe 500 to 400 questions already got in because they set it up about an hour earlier at around 5 p.m. Tons of great questions. And we'll be able to raise our hands probably within the Discord and ask questions. They'll be able to select people or say they wanted to get more in depth with the question or they didn't really understand it. They'll pretty much say maybe that person's raised their hand. They'll pretty much just be able to, hey, come up, talk. And yeah, that's pretty much how that's probably going to go. But we'll see. They said that they might not do it, but they might. So we got a decent amount of people in here.
Okay.
254.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, pre-variants, welcome to our first ever Discord developer AMA for Midnight Society. Before we get started, thank you so much from all the devs at Midnight Society for an absolutely incredible day zero. The hype, the energy was immaculate and fantastic. Make sure that if you haven't already, you head to midnightsociety.com and you fill out your founder access pass. This is a limited time engagement. We want to make sure that the core community gets in on all the perks that the Founder Access Pass has to offer. With me on stage today, we have our studio head, Rob, and our director, Quinn. So thank y'all for being here. Those are the two people that are going to be answering our questions. If you have a burning question that is, you're not seeing answered, make sure you put it in the pre-variant AMA chat. I'm going to be monitoring it. If you see a question you have that has already been put in the chat, make sure you upvote it and we'll see it from there. So Rob, Quinn, are you both ready?
Ready.
Ready, NA.
I'm not ready.
Rob's not ready. Okay, we have
All
to.
right, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay. Well, I figure we'll start at the top because Billy and Cher was the first one to submit a question ready, just with that copy paste, absolutely ready for when the chat opened up. So thank you, Billy and Cher. First question. Are we sure, can we have private or custom lobbies in the game that we're going to be making?
Are we going to have private or custom lobbies?
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good one. I mean, there's lots of stuff that we are still trying to figure out about the game, especially at a high level. That's where we're kind of thinking right now. And when it comes to features like that, that's why we have the Founders Access in the program that we're doing, so we could hear the voices of people like you, so we could get this feedback, this discourse back and forth with each other. And that's personally why I'm super excited about what we're doing here at Midnight Society is trying to do this with the fans and with the community. So that's I guess my best answer to that is we are still trying to figure out some of those things, and that's why we want you here along with the ride, so we could hear from you and what you want. What are you interested in? I don't know if you want to add to that, Rob, or whatnot.
Yeah. This is a perfect question because it touches on a lot of very specific minutia of how the game's going to run, how you play together, different options you'll have on different platforms. All really great stuff. Most of this stuff isn't decided yet, right? Like that TTK, I definitely have my preference. I'm with you, right? I love fast TTK. I think there's also a lot of discussion on potentially different modes that could exist that have varying different TTKs. But these are the exact, everything you just wrote in here, Billy and Chair, these are the exact things that we need to be talking about in these dev roundtables that we bring you guys into. When we talked about day zero, we literally meant day zero, right? I've seen a few articles online already talking about we're opening up access to a game that doesn't exist. That's the point. The point is that we are going to build this together. And so while we've had, Deez and I and the dev team, we've had very in-depth conversations every single day as we're building this foundation of where we would like to go with it. We're trying not to draw a lot of those lines in the sand just yet, because we want you guys there as we're having those discussions, there having a voice in that, right? So if I'm in there fighting for a faster TTK, and Deez is like, hey, let's slow down, right? Like, or let's do this, or maybe we introduce this element that would slow it down a little bit. We also want voices like Billy and voices like Taco and Disney and all of them coming in and saying like, well, here's what I think and why, right? And having those back and forth conversations. But then most importantly, being able to then make a decision, get that into the build, have you guys download the build, play it, and then come back to the conversation. Be like, hey, it's not hypothetical anymore. We tried it out. What do we think? Did that feel good? Or did that feel like, like a little too fast or a little whatever, right? And that is we are at the gateway right now of crossing that Rubicon of going from these being hypothetical conversations to them being literal decisions, being in a build, us playing it, and then coming back and having the same conversation, iterating on it, right? Something we normally do day in, day as we develop games. And I'm sorry, get used to this long-winded answer, get used to it, because I'm going to be doing this the whole time. This is what we are talking about, right? Is like, those are the conversations, those meaty conversations that I'm so excited to have, that we normally have as a dev team every single day for 2 years, but they don't reach you until they're locked in, right? And so I'm really excited for that. And like, you've touched on a lot of things here, Billy, that I'm really into, and I'm excited to see the specific flavor of personality that our game evolves into, right? What we do know is we're 100% multiplayer focused, so everything we are doing is all about that competitive PvP multiplayer. And then we need to figure out what modes are right for us, what speed is right for us, what is the core locomotion, and we're definitely going to go in a direction that we like, and then come back to the table and talk about like, okay, we have the base, how are we iterating, where are we going from? So like, yeah. I'll be, completely transparent with you guys that a lot of these very specific game questions of like, how does this work? It's like, that's what we're going to figure out together in a lot of ways. And anywhere that we can tell you, and I think it would be great, Deez, for you to say, well, here's how I feel today, right? But I just want everybody to be aware of like, that means that's our starting point, right? And then that's the start of the conversation. It's not the nail in the coffin.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. That's really good stuff. And I think another part of that is good is each of these build drops or flights that we're going to be doing, we'll get focused on those, and we'll get into, hey, this one we're focusing on these kind of mechanics. We're focused on this, and yeah, you can provide feedback on other stuff by all means. We're not going to exclude that, but we're going to also try to keep it very catered and measured on the things that we're going for. And a lot of that is going to be that minutia, and then we can engage in those kind of conversations back and forth. And that's what's going to be great about this whole process.
Awesome. Well, I hope you got a good enough answer there, Billy and Chair, As if to have an easy segue, Turtle has given us an incredible question right next to Billy's and says, with regards to the game development process, what steps have been taken to ensure that founders or variants, that their community feedback will actually matter and be utilized, rather than be seemingly ignored like we've seen with so many other gaming companies over the last decade?
That's a really good question. And so just to give you a little inside baseball of the sort of challenges to doing open development, because let me say, like, doing open development, and I tell this to everybody who we're interviewing and that we're talking about joining the team, like, I'm very upfront with them, is we are deliberately choosing to make developing this game harder for us as a dev team. Because normally you have a lot of luxuries designing in a bubble, right? You don't have to worry about getting the build out to a bunch of different machines and optimizing it for people and sort of polishing areas that you don't have to worry about right now because that's going to come online later in development. There's all these things that you don't have to worry about during development because it's just the internal team playing it, right? Now, doing open development, that means that we now have to worry about a lot of this stuff, right? We need to get working builds on varying different PCs of different specs, and on consoles, we have to pass certification, right? Which each platform has their own list of things that we have to make sure that it's stable and it works, even when it's in an early state. But more importantly, to address specifically what you're talking about, Turtle, is because we want to facilitate actual constructive feedback and back and forth, there are also a few features that we normally wouldn't worry about at this stage, like those feedback loops, right? Because there's two ways that we're going to do this. There is the telemetry data that we're going to gather from the build. That is like the hard data of like, okay, we have heat maps, we understand where players are, we understand where the most activity is happening, we understand like, oh, this person spent this amount of time in the game. So there's certain information we can glean from data, right? And that data will be light early on because, the scope of the build might be light. And then later on, when we get the full multiplayer sessions and all of that, there's a lot more telemetry data to pull from. And then there is the subjective information, right? The opinion-based information, like one person thinks the TTK is fast, one person thinks it could be faster, one person thinks it should be slow and tactical, one person has an opinion about the recoil pattern of the AR, right? The default AR. Another person thinks like, this should be a melee-based game, whatever it is, right? I'm using extreme examples. That opinion-based feedback, we want to make sure that we have an equal balance between the ways to report that kind of stuff in game and the way we do that on the platform. And when I say the platform, I mean we are building the Foundation Pass or the Founders Access Pass and MidnightSociety.com and that whole account system. That is the foundation for which all of this lives. Right. And the reason that we're sort of creating this account system in the way that we are is so that, and the reason we have that very detailed questionnaire to choose who are going to be founders is so that not only can we make sure that we pick people who have a shared interest in what we're trying to do for the long term, but also so that we can build that filter for, well, what perspective is that coming from? Right. So for example, if someone's asking for like extremely competitive esports focused features and that's coming from a professional esports player, that makes sense, right? And that should be taken with that context versus somebody who's asking for something else and they're like, oh, like, I want a lot of RNG elements and I want, this to be that. And they're talking about a lot of things that sort of make the game more accessible and less competitive. Right. And if we see that information coming from an esports player, that's really interesting, right? Because it feels counter to what they would normally want versus if we see that coming from just an average casual player. And so this system, we're building a lot of tools. How we're building the platform is looking at, okay, how do we bring in information? How do we allow people to voice their opinion, share it, and then also how do we organize that in a way that's digestible and actionable? That's the most important stuff. So that's a long-winded way of saying that's a lot of the stuff we're looking at right now, or what are the tools we're doing. And I can tell you that there's a combination of stuff we'll be doing in-game in the build that allows you to report stuff that would be tied to your telemetry data, but then also look at things that we can do on MidnightSociety.com where you can just come and like, drop your feedback in for us to review. Now, this is a highly iterative process. This is not like our game. Normally when you do a beta, right, you're doing it for marketing purposes. You're like, okay, we want to drum up our user base and we want to get people in preparation for launch, right? Or you're doing a technical beta where you're testing load testing and you're making sure that your backend's working and your matchmaking's working and all of that stuff. We're going to be opening up the build so early on that a lot of the stuff we're talking about are core decisions, core balancing, core things that are key to the gameplay itself. And so it's very different from doing a technical beta or doing a marketing beta. It's all about that opinion-based feedback in the early days, right? And so that's going to be the stuff that we talk about in these dev roundtables. Now, how we do it, we're going to figure it out, right? It might change over time. But I think in the early days, I want to be as transparent as possible. And that is also why we are limiting the amount of founders. Because if we were opening it up to the world and letting anybody they want play early, right? If we were going to have 1 million users come in, which would be great if we were trying to make the most money, we would just open it up to anybody who wanted to buy their way in. But we don't want to do that. We want to limit it so that we can have these very constructive conversations. And when we sit down for the roundtables, we can bring up that feedback, right? And keep it all public and be like, yo, Turtle said this. What do we think about that? Here's what we're thinking, right? And then we sort of all get a consensus, and then Deez walks away from that very informed, and he's like, all right, yeah, like they seem really into this specific direction. Let's try it, right? And then the dev team's job is to go incorporate that into the game, to try it out, be like, oh, let's see what that feels like, right? Like, we're moving in this direction. They really want this feature. They want to prioritize this over that, whatever it might be. We try it out. We put it into the game. We update the build, and then we all play it again, right? That's the feedback loop that we're looking to get into, is taking that feedback that we take through the platform and the tools, making informed decisions about it. When there's questions or there's like nuance or debate, bringing that to the public forum. And when I say public, I mean the founders, making decisions, going back and iterating, right? Now, obviously we have a vision for what we want to do overall, right? So, and we really see ourselves as starting the conversation, like being like, hey, based on our expertise, based on our experience, this is the way we want to go. And then really fine tuning that based on everybody's involvement.
Incredible answer. Anything from you, Quinn?
Hey, man, you can't improve on perfection, man.
There you go.
I'm just here clapping my hands. We're good.
Right.
Woo!
I love it. I love it. Well, I'm going to jump down the chat a little bit. Ooh, Quinn, can you mute yourself, sir? I'm going to jump down the chat a little bit because I see this question come up a lot, especially after we launched the DAYZERO talking points, after we launched the new website. And I just want to make sure that we answer this because this is one that I see a lot. This is from midnight, but spelled with an X instead of a G and GH, excuse me. Will we have to wait some weeks to receive our airdrop when the founders' applications are done, or do we get them immediately?
Seems like a good one for you, Robbie.
Yeah. Sorry, I was reading conspiracy chat.
As one does.
Yeah. So how the process works, I'll just give you the high level process because I think it's going to answer your question. So right now the applications are open. They are open for like 6 more days. That is just to give time for everybody, all the hardcore people who have been here from day one, make sure that they get their applications in, right? And then we have the approval process. So there's a lot of waiting that happens on making sure that it's bubbling the ones that we want to the top, right? And when I say the ones that we want, that's kind of a diverse answer because it is a combination of our ideal founder is people who have been here since day one, right? We made the announcement on December 14th. Like 30,000 of you were like, I'm there, right? I'm in. I love it. Let's go, right? You joined the Discord. You got involved. Then we did the ARG, the Midnight Protocol ARG. And then tons of you did that, right? The hardcore of the hardcore went through the ARG, and they were some of the first 500. That is why we had the airdrops, because we wanted to make sure that the hardcore, the most engaged, most active, the most passionate about what we're doing, and the most vocal about like what they want to see, were guaranteed in, right? So that airdrop means that you're one of the most active, earliest members of the DAYZERO Society. And we want to make sure that there's no barrier to entry for you getting in. So you're going to automatically be approved. You get the highest score system. So when we go to the database and we're like looking at all the applicants, those 500 that got airdrops are at the top of the list, and they will be awarded the founders access, right? So they don't have to pay anything.
The first 500 that completed the ARG are in for the founder access.
Yes. So they don't have to pay anything. You do have to submit your application so you have a Midnight Society account, and then we will airdrop you once all applications are approved. we will airdrop you, along with the approved applicants, your link to mint your founders access, which means you then go to Midnight Society, the new section of it, and you'll be able to reveal your variant design, and then that's also where you will get access to daily questions, the platform where you download the PC version of the builds, or will eventually get your key to download it on consoles. So all that will happen on your founder's profile once you get the link. So that happens after all applications are approved, which is about I think it's a 3 to 4 week period. Because right now we're at last I checked a couple hours ago, we were at like 80,000 applications. We're fast approaching 100,000. Who knows where we will be in 7 days, right? So there's a lot to go through. Like I said, we have an algorithm that sort of judges them on a lot of criteria and sort of puts them in different buckets. So we're sort of like, okay, here are the top scoring player applications, and here are the top scoring developer applications. Here's the top scoring content creator applications. You remember the first question in the application is like, oh, well, what perspective are you coming from? Are you coming from a player perspective? Are you coming from a content creator? We don't want just all of one, right? We don't want 100% of founders to just be players. We definitely don't want 100% of founders to just be professional athletes or content creators. We want a nice diversity of all. So don't feel like you have to be in one of those buckets. We really want to make sure that we have a diverse set of opinions, right? We do want to know what the big content creators are playing because they have a good opinion on what's entertaining to watch from a passive standpoint, right? But also we want the player's perspective of what is the most entertaining to play. What do you want to play? And then we also want a developer's perspective of like, what they want to see technically in a game. So we really want that diverse set. So we need several weeks to go through those applications. And then once we go through all of those and pull and pick those 10,000 people who make up that diverse group of founders, that's when the airdrops will receive their links and the people who have approved will receive their links. The only difference between the two links is the airdrop people just instantly get it. They don't have to pay anything. And anybody who is not airdrop obviously have to, buy their founders access pass.
Yeah, that's awesome. And just to be clear about one more thing, you hit on something very important, that we're not just picking the best influencers with the highest following or esports stars. So those people that have been concerned whether they should take the time to go do the founder access pass, they're not going to pick me. They should just do it anyway because they might get picked to become founders. Is that correct?
Yes, 100%.
Awesome.
Right? We don't want it to sway too much in any direction, right? But I will say my gut tells me that the mass majority of the approved applicants are just going to be players, just normal players who are just coming to play and enjoy the game.
Players, ladies and gentlemen, players. There it is.
Yes, the thing we don't want is we don't want people who don't want to be invested in the community. They like if somebody just wants it to, have it or sell it or whatever, like they are not our ideal person. We want people who want to be actively involved, who have a strong opinion about what they want this game to be. And that is why we have an application process. If we just wanted it to be anybody, right, we would have just opened it. We would have just sold it like a normal game. That is not the goal here. Eventually the game will be out and commercial and, anybody can play it and spend money in it. But, we are a long ways from that point. Right now, we're talking about the early access people.
Right. Right. Not resellers, not holders, founders. Very important. Love that. Well, here's a nice question from Killstrike25 that says, and we were kind of talking about how the founder access would work post once we pick everybody. Will the website have a login area specifically for founders that lets the founders access and see behind the scenes content? Is that where our voting is going to be? Or is everything going to be built into Discord itself?
Yes. The short answer is yes. So you will log into Midnight Society. That will be where your account is that is linked to all your other accounts. And then that is where we will have questions. We will, that is where we host the build. So if you're on PC, you will download it there. That is also where you will access your token to download it on the other platforms that are not PC. But then a lot of stuff is going to happen in here. So once you connect your Discord account, that gives you access to the variant only channels here in Discord. And that's where a lot of the conversations are going to happen. Things like we're doing here. So right now, this is a pre-variant AMA. It's open to, the pre-variants because nobody is a founder yet. But eventually, a lot of these private conversations are going to happen in the private Discord channels, the variant-only Discord channel, which you get access to by linking your Discord account to your Founders Access account. And so a lot of those conversations we'll hear. The good news is for people who do not become variants, again, this is still an open development process. So why those 10,000 have the seat at the table to sort of do the back and forth and give us feedback that we can sort of make actionable, they are meant to represent the voice of the wider community. So those conversations, those play tests that we do, those are not private, right? You might not be able to have access to download the build if you're not in that 10,000, but we will be streaming it. We will be showing that stuff. We will be creating videos out of it. So you will, even if you are not a founder, you will at least get to see that stuff that's happening, so that you can make sure that you are informed on what's happening. And then think of it as the founders are the representatives of the greater community.
Yeah, there's
Love
nothing
that.
secret there when we're doing those. Like, totally going to be open. Let people check it out, see it, watch it, stream it, all that stuff.
Love that. Well, I actually have a question for you, Quinn. It fell on my list. One sec. Always the live. Question from Corvito, probably for you, Quinn. What kind of anti-cheat is being looked at for codename Project Moon?
If we were to tell you, then it would be easier to cheat, wouldn't we?
I see.
That's
Someone
just me being,
get him out of the Discord. Get him out.
just me being cheeky. Yeah, that is a conversation that is still we're looking at, but right now we're still looking at the high level decisions and the things about the game, the core of it, everything that players are going to be playing, from the mechanics to what's it going to be like when you're pressing the buttons or pressing the keys on your keyboard, all that kind of stuff, right? Controller in hand, everything from how the game will feel and play. But yeah, as with any online game, anti-cheat and making sure the sacredness of the game is maintained. So, yeah, that is going to be crucial to us. And that's something that we're going to be having conversations on, not just internally. What is the secret sauce, or what are the things that we need to ensure that all games are played fairly, but also who are the other partners in the industry that have really good anti-cheat systems that also provide them, and also game studios. So that's how we feel really good about our space and what we're doing. Is the game industry as a whole is a tight one. And we feel like in talking with other partners and groups that we'll be able to find the good solutions that are catered to our game, because not every anti-cheat is a one size fits all.
Yes, 100%. And I will tell you right now, the amount of like new anti-cheat tech and companies that have been sprouting up now that so many games are 100% multiplayer focused and are live service games, and people have thousands of dollars invested into their accounts. Like, this stuff in just the past year alone has been supercharged so much in the solutions available to developers. Now we're building entirely on UE5, and UE5 obviously has their easy anti-cheat, but I think there are a lot of additional layers that we can add on top of that we're going to be exploring. And this AMA is a good preview of how these conversations are going to go, except the only difference is, like, you guys are going to be able to be in a voice and we're all talking together, right? But like, if you ask my opinion, like, I am the most brutal. Like, if you're caught cheating once, hardware ban, get the hell out of here. Don't come back to the game. I don't care how much money you spent, right? Like, if you're going to cheat, you've ruined our community. You are a toxic part of the community who has no place here. That's my stance, right? And then Deez's job is to talk me off the ledge. Deez's job is to be like, whoa. We don't want false positives. We want to make sure we have a measured, balanced approach. We want to make whatever, right? And then, you guys individually, the founders, are going to have your own opinions that you bring to the table, right? And then through that conversation, through that exercise, we are going to find a solution, right? And that's the type of stuff we're going to be talking at these dev tables. Is we're going to say, hey guys, look, we had a meeting with these guys. They offer this solution. We think it's a really good approach for these reasons. What do you think? Is it too hard? Is it the risk of false positives too high? Like, those are the meaty dev conversations that we're going to be having, which I'm really excited for, right? But I can tell you right now, I'm going to start at the extreme. I'm going to start at 0 tolerance, 1 offense, get the hell out of here, delete your account, right? And then we need to talk about, like, is that right? Or should we move somewhere else? But yes, what I can promise you today is that anti-cheat is one of the highest priorities because we are 100% PvP multiplayer focused. So that is one of the things that we have to get right. You know, there are some things that are subjective of like, oh yeah, is that good or is that whatever? This is non-subjective. You have to get it right. And so I'm excited to see where we land in our specific approach.
Awesome. And I'm sure that's great for the community to know that we're working so hard on making sure anti-cheat is at the tippity top. You had
except for the cheater community, of course.
Oh, of course. But get them out of here. You know,
get them out.
I know Rob had just mentioned UA5. Kukio has a lovely question saying, what engine is Project Moon running on?
Unreal Engine 5.
Oh, there it is. Kukio, you have your...
That's the engine and the tech stack that we're going to be building Project Moon off of.
Awesome. Just to make sure that's very, very clear. Speaking of games that Midnight Society members can play, Grimsy says, will the ARG continue?
That's that's an interesting question. Right now, there are not plans for it to continue. We plan to leave it up so that people can still run through it for fun. But you know, that's one of those things that's organic, right? Like the ARG started out as a very simple thing, and it very quickly and dynamically grew because of the users here in this Discord, right? And I think that was pretty apparent for people who were going through it live as we were updating it each night. Like, it started as this simple thing that we update each night at midnight, and then it became more elaborate, and then we're coding, 15,000 lines of code into a bot and writing elaborate choose your adventure stories, and like, it really grew far bigger than I was even expecting it to, right? So I would not be surprised if there were continuations of it to sort of rally around things later on. But that's really gonna, that's something that happens organically. Right now, there are no plans to extend it, but plans change very quickly based on, what the community is into, right? There might come a time down the road where, Founders Access is the first access pass. Maybe we want to introduce, maybe we decide as a community that we want to open it up to more people once we get further along in development. And there's a second access pass, right? That brings people into the group and expands that 10,000. Maybe it makes sense to do an extension there. I don't know, right? So, but right now there is not a current extension plan for the ARG.
Got it. Well, kind of piggybacking on that, one of our OGs, Felipe, asks a extremely serious question, saying, did Sector 7 ever really exist?
Well, I mean, it existed in our hearts. It was definitely there.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. In our hearts and minds.
Maybe the real Sector 7 are the friends we made along the way. Got it. Understood. Well, in a similar question, I'll give Felipe one more since that one was so fast. What was the team's reaction to Space Bob?
I loved Space Bob. It took me a while to figure out what we were talking about, and then when someone pointed out that we literally just made a blank text spot on the website, and now it has its own identity and name and culture and personality, I loved it, and I can't wait to see where he shows up next.
Maybe he takes on a life of his own. Got it. Pivoting to some more, shall we say, direct questions. I've seen some back and forth on pre-variants, variants, founders. Jumper has a really great question that says, what, if any, involvement will the pre-variants have in development? development of the game, I assume.
I mean, it's what we've been talking about, right? I mean, this whole plan that we have in front of us is that's the core of what we're doing here. Is their involvement is why we have the whole pass, and why we are also doing the why you have to apply. And Rob has said it. You know, we're not in this to make money or anything like that. We're all in this to build a game and to do it in a way that has not been done in the industry before, which is alongside a community and a small community of representatives that speak for the larger community. So their involvement is going to be as much as they give us, and we're going to do everything we can to fulfill our promise of reaching back to them, giving them the builds that we talked about, and then have the roundtables, AMAs, things like this, having this type of access with developers on the game so early in the process. This to me is why we're doing all this stuff, and this is the type of interaction that the variants and founders are going to have on the game.
Yeah, but specifically to the question of the difference between a pre-variant and a variant, right? So think of it as we really look at it as claws, which is everybody who plays a game is a claw, right? Variants are people who have founders access pass. Pre-variants in our mind are that group that's in between, right? That group that's going to definitely be a founder as soon as they can get a pass, right? But they are also, in our mind, are sort of self-designated upper echelon of claws, in the sense of, like, I'll give you a very tangible example, right? Say we're sitting in a dev roundtable and we're doing a play test and we're like, oh my God, this is really great. And we really like this, but like we just can't, like, we feel like we need more opinions, right? We need a larger group, a larger test group to sort of focus stuff, right? Or we want to bring a question or a specific dev roundtable discussion to a wider audience, right? To me, that's what pre-variants can become, is the fact that, like, hey, we need more. We need a more diverse sample set outside of this 10,000, right? The pre-variants to us are our identity. Or say we're doing an event, right? Say we're doing a real person event. Like, anybody who has sort of been with me on my development journey from, like, Call of Duty through Modern Warfare to now, I'm very big into big in-person events, right? Like, we did COD XP, we did, like, all these big things. Those normally require a large amount of numbers to accomplish what we're trying to do, right? Whether it's introducing a new element or something. That's where I see, when we're looking at that sort of list of, like, who do we need to include in this? That's where we really look at things like that. So to me, I think pre-variants is just a really nice way that we've allowed the community to self-identify as, like, hey, I am not a passive observer of this. I want to be an active participant, right? So if we do open up more access passes in the future, then that is, like, you know, those feel like they're the next in line, in my opinion. Same with all these applications that are going on.
Got it. Both great answers. Well, I have a fun one for you. Something that we've been kind of keeping close to the vest a little bit, more than a little bit. Artax has an incredible question with, can we get a definition for who the eyes are?
Oh man.
Ooh.
Oh man. Oh man.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that's a really interesting one, right? So the eyes, and we're going to touch on a few other groups that we haven't talked about, right? But the eyes, the short answer I can give you right now, and yeah, I don't really give short answers, but the short answer is the eyes are the guilds, right? So if we talked a little bit about, in that variant survey, you might have seen some questions about, like, oh, if there were guilds, like, which one would you be interested in? Would you want one that deals with seasonal events, or would you want one that deals with characters, or do you want one that deals with weapon skins? And, like, there was a few options there, right? In my mind, somebody who joins a guild or participates in these industry guilds, that's the eyes. So think of them as, like, where claws are people who just enjoy playing the game, right? They're just going to play the game. They don't give a shit about anything else. They're like, dude, I just got off work. I want to play. Don't even talk to me about this stuff. I just want to kill things. I just want to shoot stuff in the face. Those are our claws, right? Our variants are the people who are like, I'm doing that. I'm definitely doing that. But I also want to have say in balancing issues and new things that you're adding and feature prioritization. Those are founders, right? Those are variants. And then the eyes are even a step further into that. The eyes are ones who are like, you know what? Like, anybody here who's been in a like an MMO guild will understand this reference, right? You take it seriously. I see a lot of negative people who have like taken the guilds in this weird, like cynical sense of like, oh, they want us to pay to work for them. It's like, dude, that's not what guilds are. Like, if you've ever been part of a guild, like, it's a commitment, but it's a fun commitment. It's like, hey, we're going to organize this and we're going to do this. And like, you've sort of just taken on a very active role in rallying people around a specific thing, right? You're scheduling things, you're involved in stuff, and what those specific tasks that you're doing are is really decided upon you and your friends who are in the guild, right? It's like, oh, hey, like, a really good tangible example would be, hey, a member of the community who we call embers, right? Somebody who creates stuff, right? Say you're and anybody feel free to stop me if I'm going off rails right here, but say you are a 3D modeler or an artist, right? And you decide like, hey, on my own accord, I want to design a cool concept for a gun, right? You don't know how it works. You're not really thinking about it from a technical sense. You're just like, hey, this gun looks cool. Wouldn't this be awesome? Right? And you sign up as an ember, which means that you just want to creatively contribute to the community, right? In an unofficial way. And so we're like, oh, cool, you have talent. Come join us as an ember, right? Think of an ember as somebody who makes Zeroy. I don't know if Zeroy is in the audience right now, but you know, I've known of Zeroy for a long time. I know he's a very active modder. He's a perfect example of somebody who would be an ember, right? He's like, hey, I'm a map designer, modder in my free time. I don't do it professionally, but I do it for fun, right? I've made this really cool map. I think it would be awesome to see that incorporated in Midnight or in Project Moon somehow, right? He would submit it, and who he's submitting it to are us at Midnight Society Dev Team and the Eyes, right? And so that group's job, so he would submit it to the guild whose job it is to evaluate that type of user-generated content. And so it would go through this process of us discussing it like we do any other game feature of like, oh, wow, that's really cool. I love the flow of this map. I love the look of the map. I love the aesthetics of it. Like, it would be even better if, like, you know, we loaned Zeroy some of our guys, right? Like, if Deez loved it, right? And he's like, oh my God, I definitely want to incorporate that in the game. Then we have an avenue to incorporate that stuff in an official way. And then the guild's job is to figure out like, okay, what does that mean for that specific ember? What does that mean for Zeroy? Of like, if we're going to include his map in the game, that opens up a can of worms, a lot of questions, right? Of like, okay, well, what does that mean? How should he be credited? How should he be compensated? What does that mean in the future of like officially incorporating UGC into the game, right? And is that even the right direction to go? That's the stuff that the Eyes sort of discuss, and they, you know, we can bring those conversations to the variants as well. It's a very interesting approach to what I believe is the future of AAA game development, where you have that base game, but you're also finding out tools and processes and flows to open up that UGC approach, right? And I think a lot of games have done it in interesting ways, right? You look at Halo with Forge, or you look at Fortnite with creative mode, is like, what does our version of those things look like? And to me, that is where the Eyes and the Embers come into play. That was a lot of information.
That was a short answer, y'all. Remember, short answer. Okay. Now, that was probably the most interesting thing that our viewers have heard, because I know that we've been purposely vague on that because it's just a big thing to talk about. So many of you, I'm sure, have their eyes go big, seeing, oh my gosh, that's what that is. So just to sum up, the Embers are what we're calling not just content creators, but the people that are call them the creatives. Is that fair to say?
The Embers are the creatives, yeah.
Embers are the creatives, and the Eyes, or also interchangeable with the industry guilds, are the entities organizing the what goes where from the community side. Is that correct?
Yes.
Got it.
That is a good way to do it. And just to be completely transparent, because that's what all of this is about, right? We are vague on the Eyes because when you want something to be a discussion, when you want something to be sort of informed by what the community is feeling like, you don't want to bias it, right? So it's kind of difficult to have these conversations in a way that doesn't make you feel like, okay, I guess that's it, and I hate it, I'm walking, right? It's like we want to open these things. Like, I think we all need to sort of get on the same page that these are conversations, right? And so when we talk about the Eyes, all I'm saying is like, this is how I want it to work. And as studio head of the company, I obviously have a lot of power and ability to make it that way, to make it so, right? But that's not how we want to operate. We don't want it to just be like, all right, this is how I want it, so this is how we're doing it. We want it to be like, this is what I want. I want to find a way to bring modders and content creators and user-generated content into the game. I want to create a process for that. And here's how I think it should work. Here's how I think they should be credited. Here's how I think they should be compensated. Here's how I think they should be involved. What do you guys think?
Got it.
That's how I want to structure this. And so that's why, I don't want to just announce like, this is how it works. I want to slowly walk us into these conversations of like, here's how I think this benefits us as a community, right? Because I think if we have user-generated maps and modes and the ability to introduce cosmetics from the community, but I want to make sure that's done in a way that is helpful to the community and enhances what we're doing on the game development side and the design side and what Deez is doing, right? Fits within the universe that we've created.
Right.
While also being fair to the person who created the stuff. That's the most important element, is how do we make sure that it is fair for the person doing it and doesn't, like, we aren't benefiting from their work, right? The community is benefiting from their work.
Right. Well, that's probably a perfect segue into a couple other questions here. Taco, one of our OGs, says the founder pass allows the founders first priority, quote, into the Eyes. However, do all the people with the pass get insured entrance into the guilds, or do the first 500 receive like a higher priority?
The literal short answer is we don't know yet. Okay. We are figuring out that structure of guilds now. There's a million ways it could be done. And honestly, the way it's going right now, I feel like that topic is going to be one of the first things we need to decide upon as variants, right? So once all the applications are done, all the variants have gone through the mist, to use Elden term references. Once we are in that room together, I think that's one of the things we need to tackle is like, what's the best way to structure this? What makes the most sense? Because I have a lot of opinions on how you structure guilds. But right. The whole point of guilds and industry guilds in the Eyes is that it's sort of community driven and guided, right? And our job as Midnight Society is just to make sure that we are building the integration for those decisions in a way that is like builds up the community and answers the concerns of people, not to decide it for them.
And this is why the founder access pass is so important, because the people that Midnight Society picks to be founders are going to influence what the Eyes and Embers are and do and help with, right? So it's not just, oh yeah, you guys get to help found the game. There's way more to the founder access pass than just you get a cool PFP and you get some merch, right?
Yes. And the thing is, it's like all of that stuff is not going to be for everybody, right? Some people will already be tuned out, right? And that is why we really want to make sure we're building an experience that is conducive to who you are, right? If you just want to play the game, be a claw, dude. Don't worry about all this stuff. If you want to be involved, right? Get a founder's access, be whatever. And if you want to be an Eyes, like, dude, that's a commitment. But if that's what you want to do, like, let's do it, right? It doesn't need to be everybody. It's more about sort of creating these levels of involvement based on your interests.
Love it. Love it. Now, everybody knows that we've been hot in the presses because the Founder Access Pass and our Series 0 Claw patch are dealing with, and in the case of the Claw patch, is literally an NFT. So one of the more better worded questions coming in from Geeky Pastimes says, at any point, will an item created in-game via collecting resources or some kind of challenge, winning a match, etc., if there's an item created in the game, can the end user sell that item outside of the game, potentially for real money?
That's a really good question. It's a very forward-looking question because a lot of that is specifically about the game and the gameplay, right? And a lot of what he's describing is what we call play-to-earn games. And what we're building is not a play-to-earn game, right? It is a PvP multiplayer shooter, as you would expect from, Halo and Warzone and all of those, but with our specific spin on the game mode, right? And the focus of it is, the reason you play the game is not to make money. The reason you play the game is not to create things. The reason you play the game is to play the game, to have fun, to get kills, to win matches, to do, whatever you think is fun of why you play a first-person shooter. That's the core of the experience, right? We are not and we covered a lot of this there's a blog post on the website now called how all of this works that sort of gets to the philosophy of our approach. And our approach is our job here is to create a really killer game, right? All of the blockchain NFT integration stuff right now is focused entirely on the founders access stuff, right? And your account is sort of tied to all of that stuff. But if you don't care about that stuff, you're not having an interest, or you're even actively against it, then just play the game and don't worry about any of that stuff, right? Because you're never going to be forced or pressured or told to interact with any of that stuff whatsoever. And so I feel like when people are like, oh, this is an NFT game or it's a blockchain game, it is not, because generally the definition of those things are all of that gameplay level stuff is written to the chain, right? And that is not what we're doing. We look at all the game stuff as I put in quotation off chain, right? Because it's all centralized on our database, just like your normal accounts. And you do whatever. So you're earning stuff in game just like you earn stuff games now, right? You rank up your character, you unlock a new weapon, you do whatever. In theory, we haven't actually figured out our specific progression system, but in theory, it's very similar to those approaches. And so this is not I've seen Geeky specifically talking in this video of oh, this is a game where you play it to make money. This is not a game you play it to make money, right? This is a game where you play it to have fun.
Right.
The only difference is I believe very strongly that when you buy things, when you buy games, and when you buy anything, you should be able to sell it. That's how I feel in general as a whole. And I can tell you personally, the reason I feel like that is because the way we've been doing it as an industry has fucking sucked for me as a player. Because I like supporting the games that I play. If I'm going to put 1,000 hours into the game, I'm going to buy stuff in that game, personally, right? I'm going to buy skins. I'm going to buy weapon skins. I'm going to buy tracer packs. I'm going to buy all that cosmetic stuff. That's just who I am, right? And what I don't like is I don't like the fact that if I move on from that game, right? Call of Duty Warzone is a perfect example. I have put countless hours into Warzone, right? Obviously, given my background, I'm a fan of Call of Duty. I put countless hours. I've bought a lot of stuff in that game as a player, as a fan, right? I've lost all of it because how they did their account system and all of that stuff. It's oh, well, that's tied to your Activision account, which is tied to your Infinity Ward email, and that's it's gone. You can't have it anymore, right?
And it's gone.
That's a ludicrous thing to me in this day and age, right? Digital ownership should be the same as physical ownership. If it's mine, it's mine. Let me do what I want with it. That's the nexus of how I feel and where I think digital entertainment's going in general. Now, how that translates into what you can do as a player, we're figuring all that stuff out. You know, but on the gameplay side, on the game side, none of that stuff matters. Just enjoy the game as you normally do, and play it.
Got it. Love it. All right, let's see. Some more specific gameplay questions. Probably one for you, Quinn. From Bane, we have, will there be a perk system or a, quote, special ability system in the game?
Great one. That is something that we are still trying to figure out and iron out and work with the players on. I could tell you, for me, things that I like is, I mean, I like abilities, I like gadgets, I like things like that, and something that we are going to try to push for is verbs that help players have fun and find success to cater to different play styles that aren't always just one way to play. And so that is something that you could look forward to in Project Moon, is a way that will cater to different types of play styles and players. How that manifests itself, we have some ideas, but we also want to get ideas from you guys as well. And that's why we have the Founders Access program. And so that to me is what gets me excited, is not just that program, but also this game, this title, things that we want to do. How do we want to have different play styles and reward different play styles? If someone wants to be an amazing shot and have incredible gun skill to win, we're going to do what we can to reward that. If someone wants to, I don't know, off the top of my head, thinking like, hey, stealth or something where they want to be a little bit more sneaky and win, we want to find ways to cater to that as well. Or someone that does neither of those things and want to be a way to take care of their teammates, to give them ammo or to heal, or however that works out. We want to cater to that kind of play style as well. But there's, with those bones, that framework, there's still a lot of stuff that needs to be figured out. And that's the exciting part of this, is we still have work to do. We're excited for it, and we're moving like we got a purpose. But we want to start with the DAYZERO community and get people involved early as well.
Right. And we've said this a couple times on this call, but that's why the Founder Access Pass is so important. That's why y'all that are listening now, y'all that are listening in the VOD, even if you're listening to YouTube later, definitely go check the link. Sign up if you haven't signed up already, because all these questions about, is this going to be more like Call of Duty? Is it going to be more like Tarkov? Is it going to be like Quake? All of those, we're looking for the founders to help guide the not general principle of the game, but we're looking for y'all to help tell us what exactly you want in the best damn AAA shooter you've ever seen. Okay? I see a lot of these questions about BR or Hunt. Is it like Fortnite? Y'all, become a founder and you'll be able to have say in that kind of conversation. So here's more of a... Oh, thank you. Here's more of a top level one. And sorry, the last question was actually from not Bane. It was an acronym for B4 Anyone. Thank you for that. Sorry about the mispronunciation. This coming question from Zillion. What inspired the idea of Midnight Society?
The idea?
The whole kit and caboodle?
A hell of a question, Rob. How long do you have, you know?
Yeah, I can give you like the Nexus story, right? So like all of us have known each other for a while in different capacities, right? Like I worked with this is a good test of how we talk about Guy when we're not talking about Dr. Disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
I worked with Guy on Call of Duty for MW2, MW3 is when we were working with Sledgehammer, where Guy was a multiplayer designer, working on multiplayer maps. And then we've known D's for a while, and then we've all sort of been doing our own things in a AAA space, right? Like I've been focused a lot on development. I've built some like game publishers. I've started some game funds, funding indie developers and stuff of that sense. D's is like, a hardcore developer. He's been focused on building some incredible franchises that entire time. And then Doc sort of, is doing Doc stuff, right? And I use Doc now because like Doc is Doc. doing all the stuff that Doc does. And then recently, I think out of frustration, because even when we weren't even when I stopped working on Call of Duty and I went off and doing other things, I was still playing Call of Duty, right? Same with Doc. Like when he stopped working on Call of Duty, he was still playing Call of Duty. And as players, we started to get frustrated because a lot of these games that we love, right? When we criticize things, and I'm sure you guys are a lot of the same way, when we criticize things, it's not coming from a malicious place. It's coming from a place that we love these things. We are emotionally invested in these games. We are investing the little free time we have to play these experiences. These are the things that we do. And so when they're not right, or like they're so close to being right, that is infuriating as a player, right? And so everything we do comes from that perspective of as a player, right? Because I hate when people talk about money in game development. I hate it because I don't give a shit about it, right? Like I've made a ton of money in games. I've walked away from a ton of money in games because it wasn't meeting what I got into games to do. I didn't even know games were a job when I first got into them. I didn't know you could get paid to make games. I just happened to do it because I loved it, right? And so Midnight Society came about because we were frustrated with how these games were not meeting the specifics of what we wanted, right? It's not that they were right or wrong. It's not what we wanted. And we saw a better way of doing it because the old way of doing it has become stale, right? You can't design in a bubble anymore. You can't not include the other people like us who have opinions and voices and passions about like how it's going to go. And also the fact that games are entirely multiplayer focused now, which means the meta is going to change, right? How people play the game is going to change based on their mood and the collective like direction of the community. And games need to be responsive to that, rebalancing, introducing new weapons, introducing new mods, rebalancing those weapons and mods as people learn how to play them or, get competitive with them. It's an ongoing cycle. Excuse me, that require a constant back and forth between the players, the developers, the collective community, and then making sure that's being represented. So Midnight Society came out of that frustration of that. We didn't feel like that was happening at the scale and speed that it needs to be happening. And we are very much put your money where your mouth is people. And so we're like, listen, if the franchises we love and play every day aren't going to do it, then we are going to do it. What does that mean? That means we have to form a company. That means we have to build the team with the people who believe in what we believe, right? So we got the ideal together. We decided to, pour millions of our own money into it. And then, so like we talked as a group. We're like, are we doing this, right? Deez is like, hell yeah, we're doing it. Yeah. I'm like, dude, you're working on Halo Infinite. What's going on here, man? That's a great franchise. But we could all be doing other stuff, but we wanted to do this together, right? And so we did it. We pulled the trigger. We launched it. And then now it's all about building up the foundation that allows us to achieve what I just talked about, right? A way to include everybody, a way to bring people into the fold, but in a structured manner. Because if it's not structured, it's not actionable, right? Like, we need a way that sort of brings in the information so that we can make group decisions on it, get those into the build, play them again. And so that's what we're focusing on now, is building out that foundation.
Everybody died too many times to dead silence, and they're tired of it. We got it. We understand,
It's a sensitive subject.
Some PTSD, We are coming up on over an hour on this AMA. Some incredible questions so far. I think we have time for 2 more. Let's try to have quicker answers. These have been good answers, Rob. Don't get me started, okay? Cappy asks, will there be any merch soon?
There's good answers, but can we just be a little bit shorter?
Yes or no? You know what I'm saying? People want to wear Space Bob merch. Can we make it happen?
Yes, there will be merch soon. So one of the perks of the Founders Pass is that we are making Founders exclusive merch that will be dropping. Of course, there'll be other non-exclusive merch that drops. But I will tell you, it hasn't been our major focus or priority. Like we've been focused on building the platform, building the game, and we've definitely started exploring what does that first group of merch sound like. So. That is perfect. If you guys have suggestions on what you want to see, I honestly don't know what you want to see. Is it shirts? Is it hoodies? Is it socks? Is it mouse pads? Like I don't know. I don't think there is a wrong answer, but like let us know if there's stuff that you're interested in and we will make it happen.
Yes. It's almost like we've been focused on building a damn good game and not the extra stuff. Yeah. Fantastic. We see the chat scrolling. We understand you want Space Bob on merch. Don't worry. Last question. And this is probably the most important one for those of you coming in from the Champions Club. Batu asks, aim assist and audio. What can you tell us?
Everything we can have the best audio in a video game shooter arena.
Boom. There it is. Well, Rob, Quinn, thank you for answering these community questions. This is not going to be the last AMA we do. Thank you to all the community members that participated, that asked questions. Thank you again for participating in the DAYZERO event. If you haven't already, make sure, if it's not clear to you now, I really don't know what else I could say, sign up for the Founder Access Pass over at MidnightSociety.com. The links are all over the Discord. They'll be in the YouTube description. If you have questions, we have the hashtag frequently asked questions section that'll take you where you need to go. Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Quinn. Thanks, everybody else. Great time today.
Thanks, everyone.
Sweet. Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
All right, and there you have it. That was actually really good. They touched on some really good points, especially the parts with the, what's it called, the anti-cheat. I love his first response. If we don't tell you, you won't be able to cheat. That was a good one. But yeah, pretty much that was really good. I do have to say, I wish they would have answered one of my questions, but you know, what you gonna do? But yeah. Earlier on, I went to touch on saying, sorry, I've been gone. A lot of bullshit was going on. Didn't really have much of an option and been feeling a little down. So I pretty much just kind of stepped away for a little bit. But yeah, I'm hoping that you guys enjoyed this. And I'm going to real quick, we'll go swing over here in a sec. But yeah, thanks for coming out. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. And let's get a little bit more in depth. Just for about like maybe, we'll see where it goes. If it's a little chaotic, might pull it, but it's been okay lately.
Well, fuck you too, buddy.
You know I'm just kidding.
I mean, yeah, my question was like more about what is going to make the 500 different from everyone else that's like...
They said they don't know. They did answer that.
Yeah,
they said they did
sure.
say they don't know.
That's to be determined, but they did say it's something they have to answer soon, is what they basically said.
I don't think, like, personally, I don't think anything's going to happen because, like, it's going to be like 500 against the
You're
rest
just
of the 10,000.
guaranteed you don't have to pay for the
You know what I mean?
10,000
Like,
has the same privileges. That's all I see.
Yeah, I don't see the 500 having more privilege than the rest of the 10,000 because
they don't.
They're just
it's
so
just you're
outnumbered.
guaranteed the spot.
Yeah,
all of us have
free.
to pray that we get in. So.
Well, not only that, LaRue did say the 500 airdrops are gonna have additional perks that he cannot talk about yet.
Yeah.
He did.
Wait, did they?
That's
They
going to be
said
cool
that
to find
it's
out when you guys get
undetermined.
it.
They want to, but they haven't determined it. So.
If you don't have an
I
airdrop,
thought
you will not be left out of like pretty much anything. If
Yeah, I
anything,
don't
it'll
think-
be maybe like a cosmetic. Say I'm 500 or something, but like, hey, you're honestly you have a chance to get into the 10,000. Once you're in the 10,000, you still get all these voting rights, all these perks. Like,
Exactly. It's not about
Yeah,
the draw.
I can't see extra privileges.
I mean,
I don't see how that
LaRue
would work.
said that yesterday.
As
LaRue
long
said
as
it
somebody
yesterday.
sees my name in the application, I'm not worried. But if they don't, that's where I'm worried.
I don't know if you remember, but you guys were supposed to be like NDA'd out of your minds on the extra perks for the 500.
Yo,
Well,
the eyes thing,
LaRue
though,
did say
the eyes
yesterday.
thing
No,
is
there is.
insane.
I'm pretty
He
sure that
did
it's been said that there is 0 NDAs.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Everything that they
Yeah.
say is just we get to do it, you know.
So if you want to be like a leaker, Twitter,
Do not do
there's
it.
like
So you can
10,000
just
of those
stream the
now.
shit out of like a pre-built game. That's sick.
You're not. Yeah, you're.
man.
Though they did confirm a couple things. This isn't a paid play to earn game, so that's something to be said.
One
So-
small leak
Are
420 made was
But
There
he
will
did
be a
say that, like, if you buy a
AR.
cosmetic, there should be a way to sell it, which is
The thing that
the
pumped
other
me
I
up the
agree with.
most
I agree with too.
I
was
totally
the
agree.
eyes.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I don't know why people are going against their own better interests with that, man. You got people making videos like
Somebody said something, and they were overshadowed.
So
I was just
never mind, I
saying
guess
that
not.
the thing that I was most excited about was the eyes. Like that's gonna be sick.
Yeah, that would
Like
be
the fact that
For
you
sure.
have you have people making shit and then
Yeah.
you have a whole nother group that's like deciding whether it's actually gonna be put in the game or not. Like that's insane to me.
that's really good.
Oh, didn't he dodge the aim assist question?
He
He talked about the audio.
Kind of.
but-
did.
I don't think it was straight.
I
up
think that they will make the best decisions to have a balanced game and will
Yeah,
not
but
over
I'm
overdo.
just say one thing. Dog doesn't like controllers.
I know, but they will. I feel like there will be
Nah, we'll
aim
get
assist
controllers.
in a
They will.
sense,
Yeah.
but they will make
It
sure
has-
it's as balanced as heck.
It has to be console
Yeah, there has
players.
to be.
Console
Yeah,
They'll
players
see-
cannot play with the
2000
mouse and
no
keyboard.
assist.
That's it.
Yeah,
and the
but-
controllers
It
have,
will
It
also
depends
count.
if they make it
have
compatible
a handicap.
with keyboard and mouse on console.
Yeah,
Because there are
and-
games
So
that can.
I forget
Yeah,
they
because it
answered
has
this.
to be for the masses. At the end of the day, it has to be able to be something that the average top player can jump into and not feel
Yeah,
like, damn,
exactly.
aim
It has to
assist
be a
on
video
controller.
game.
You know, like it's Turok or something. You
See,
know,
I was
What
just thinking,
platform on PC did they say it was going to be? Was it Steam? I've missed that part, or is
No,
it their own
probably going to
launcher?
be its
I
own
think
launcher.
they
set.
did.
It is its own
Launcher.
launcher. That's what I thought. Okay.
Yes, it's
Oh,
on
launcher,
launcher.
yeah, because the NFT.
Oh, they did.
Because of the
That's
NFT
interesting.
involvement, they have to. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Did
because
they say
Steam-
anything
Very
about
interesting.
subscription to Uni 5?
They said that it's UE5. That's kind of all.
yeah,
No,
because
but I'm saying, like, obviously, I've
Steam doesn't
access to
allow
4, but I don't have
NFTs.
access to 5.
We couldn't hear what the heck you said. It was like glorping up and down on your volume.
Me or
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I was saying like at the end of the day, like Steam doesn't allow anything pertaining to NFTs yet. So you know, when it comes down to games like this, you know, they're gonna have to have their own launcher just for that alone. You know, but I
Yeah.
think Steam
No,
might
they-
change
they
the
can-
policies.
He confirmed
Actually,
in
there's
voice chat
Ultra,
yesterday
which
that
is the
they were going to
blockchain
make
version
their
of
own.
Steam.
They're going to do their own launcher.
Yeah, I figured that. Kind of like what Tarkov was doing. Yeah, exactly. Which may affect, you know, some of the game's reach, but or maybe not, because look at Tarkov. Tarkov has its own launcher and it's
Yeah.
successful.
Tarkov is
I
blowing
mean,
up
it's
pretty
hard,
good.
though.
Yeah.
What's also interesting to me is if you look on the webpage, they said that like the game that's going to be made originally isn't going to be the only game that they want to make, and that the community is also going to have a say in other games that they make. So it's not just the shooter game that.
Yeah, isn't that what the
I think
NFT
it's
stuff was?
games somewhere with an
Man,
S.
like I'm like so excited for the development cycle of this game, and I just like if they really do keep to this to a T and they do it well, okay, I cannot thank them enough.
They'll do
I
it
got
well.
something I would like to say too, after you guys comment on that.
Is the ARG disabled right now? Anyone
Uh, it was on for
yeah.
a second, but then it like
Depends. If
dissipated.
the bot is
The
not
bot is-
crashed.
The bot's probably
The
dead.
CPU on the bot is like about to hit over 9,000, so that's
No,
pretty much the
it's
analogy.
Discord
Go,
that's
go.
it's Discord that's stopping like the bot from like receiving any commands at all.
Mm.
Is the
Yeah,
problem?
if
It's happened
people
before. They did it
spam.
before.
Are you guys doing it in the DM channel or are you
Yeah,
guys doing it on
DM.
the Discord server?
It's in the
Yeah.
I'm doing it
yeah,
at DM.
DMs.
It's because you said
There
it
was a
wasn't
guy
bad.
I
that
did
was
it in
in
both
the,
because I still have the bot, so I don't know if they disabled it, but I still
no,
have
it's-
Midnight Protocol.
No, it's not
like-
disabled. It's just fucking
He's
overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Boss just
The
chilling
Discord
there.
was just like,
over
all
in
right,
the,
you
prevariant
can't look
comms or
at Discord
something
anymore.
before. It was saying that if they paid for Nitro or some shit on the bot, then it would be like it'd make it unlimited or
No,
some
that's
shit.
bullshit.
It's
No,
it's
that's-
so
That's
if they
not-
verify the bot, so
Yeah.
Discord has their verification process. It's like, oh, if this amount of people are using it, then you can verify. But the problem is, like, verification is free, but it takes like 3 to 6 months to actually verify it, which sucks ass.
Jesus fucking
There you
Christ.
go. See,
And that's like on a good. That's like good.
That's
Like, that's a
insane.
good amount of time. I know people who it took like 9 months for them to get their shit fixed.
so it was a baby bot.
Yeah, that
Could you
was
make
one of the
another
big
bot
things back in the
with
day
the
when the
exact same
ARGs
purpose?
started with the sector stuff. Was that I couldn't? I always had buggy problems with mine, and
Yeah.
it
I feel
broke
like I only
mine
had like maybe
completely.
3 or 4 times it's
Yeah,
crashed
because
on
like
me.
I picked the path and it wouldn't let me pick a path.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
That's what happened to me
That
earlier today.
that
Around like
interaction failed, yeah.
Yeah,
5?
so I still gotta
Yeah.
wrap it up.
Yeah,
but
5.
I mean, I was there at the beginning, hell, on Prevariant too. So I mean, that says something. I'm just hoping I don't get lost in the mix, man.
Sweet. I'm so stoked, guys. So stoked.
Well, I got something that I would like to say.
What's up, Sweat?
For anyone who is saying that the 500 airdrops will not get any additional perks, LaRue said the other day that there is some other perks for the 500 that he cannot discuss. And on top of that, I am excited for DAYZERO. Like when we first get into variants, and once they have the earliest build, I cannot wait to get into that shit with all of you.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fire as fuck.
Yeah,
It's gonna be fire
Oh, yeah,
for
it
us,
is.
man.
I just hope I don't get
We'll
mixed
all
in the
enjoy this
applications, bro.
experience.
10,000, they're at
I'm a
like
little-
80,000, man.
I'm interested in how the government is going to work. If there's 10,000 of us, like, how's that? There's so many voices, man.
Yeah.
Probably split it up into groups. Maybe
There's no
like
Honestly,
maybe
one big group.
They'll probably
You split
end
them up
up
into
doing it
guilds.
in sectors. So they'll probably have representatives that do
There's a whole
polls within
system they're
certain
gonna have to do.
sectors of those 10,000. And then
Yeah.
we'll have to have
Who are
representatives
those
that put out the vote of what that.
Yeah, the
I
thing
highly
is,
doubt all
they said-
10,000 are
they
going to be
said-
super involved as well. There's going to be people in the 10,000 that don't want to be as
Yeah.
involved as you.
Yeah.
No,
I
but
could
wait,
see
hold
this
on a second.
pre-variant
Hold on a
gathering
second.
thing like that they have set up being very useful in the future for like guild meetings
Yeah.
and stuff. Like
Yeah,
say
but-
somebody needs to say something, raise your hand, and then we'll get to you.
Maybe there will be a.
They were very
So
specific.
you're saying like an electoral
branch.
college
Oh my
type
God.
of system?
I don't know.
I think
I'm really
what they're gonna
wondering-
do is they're gonna split it into groups, and then they're gonna like elect a leader because they're talking about like leaders, right? Like that's in the
Yeah.
application
Yeah,
process.
Yes,
There's gonna be
yes,
application
I'm not sure if
process.
it's
402 said one thing that you guys are all forgetting. Around the 9,500, there's an algorithm in the website towards the questions that have been made and what you write down and what you did in Discord and everything
All right, I'm gonna show you guys something
So-
that's relating to this. Give me a second.
to select the right people, the best people.
Yeah.
Are you
So
going to put that in
we'll-
conspiracy or are you
we'll
streaming
probably-
that?
I'll stream it. It's gonna be data science stuff, so you're all about to see how statistics are done.
Okay.
The judicial branch is like the mods.
All right, go on.
I'll show you what they're gonna be looking at, exactly how this is gonna work.
The House of Representatives.
The president is Dr. P.
One thing I do have a question on.
I
is,
think
was
he'd
it
be more like an
confirmed
overseer.
That the first 500 is separate from the 10K, or is that?
I don't think it
included?
is.
I don't think it
so,
is.
no.
I
It wouldn't
wouldn't
be
get
fair.
your hopes up that you're going to get anything more special for being the top 500. I know some people might think that, but the thing that you get special for being the top 500 is you don't have to pay anything for your founder's pass.
Yeah, and it's a guarantee you're in.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're guaranteed. I think that's special enough.
It will
Not
be
having to pay for any-
out of these 10,000. Out of these 10,
If they do
out
give
of-
us something, that's great. But I'm not gonna be.
They are.
They're
They're
$350.
going
Out
to
of
give us
these
something. They just haven't
10,000.
decided what it is yet.
Don't mind me
Jesus
cutting in
Christ,
right
you
now.
guys
You
are
get
like
2 for
bulldozers.
handshakes?
Holy fuck.
Gonna get a crisp high five.
I'm really wondering how they
No,
will.
you're only getting the nub, not a high five.
So you guys know
No, it's like
Anything,
Hancock.
speaking of
Good job.
NDA'd out of my mind coming from
All right.
my
So
voice.
you guys are about to get a lowdown on some data science stuff. I'm sharing my screen. Make sure it's coming through.
New Python.
Just making sure you guys know that if I say NDA'd out of my mind, it's metaphorical.
Yeah.
All right.
In this chat.
So what you're saying is you're NDA'd out of your mind.
No.
Because I think I'm going to launch that that Jackbox thing for the community.
What is that?
Do it.
Now's a good
No
time.
balls.
Guys,
You
Jackbox
won't.
Arcade, you guys know what that is? You can play it on your phone. It's
Yeah. Everybody
Is
can
it NFT?
participate.
I'm down for more games.
oh my god.
He's been broken. There's no coming back.
All right, so just a quick go through here. I kind of referenced some things I was mentioning. So this is a data set. It's called e-commerce, and it's got a bunch of random ass jazz, right? So I'm importing a bunch of stuff for basically filtering out data and stuff like that and doing machine learning models. So this, I just import all my data from the file. So when I'm talking about stuff earlier and I was saying head, this is what I was in reference to. So head ends up pulling the first 5 things in the ledger of data. So you see that this is just the index, the email that's associated, their address, credit card, session, all these things, right? All these things are going to have correlations, right? So the time spent on the app, the length of the membership to the yearly, that's the stuff they're looking at. So let me quickly just run through all these cells real quick to make sure they're all loaded up. So here's some statistics that just kind of show up to kind of go over some stuff. Obviously, the credit card stuff's going to mean nothing because they're just indexes, but it tells me a little bit about the average, right? So my average session length right near here is 34 across the board on the data, 38, and jazz, stuff like that. So this will tell me if I'm missing any data. So if there's any gaps, I'm missing nothing. This is a matrix. If there's anything missing, there would be like a white bar. So here I'm starting to do data analysis, which means I'm going to start looking for comparisons by putting them in a grid like this, right? So I have my time on website compared to yearly amount spent, right? So you guys might see where I'm going with this. So note how this correlation looks a little bit better. I don't know what I just did there. But anyways,
So take like a section of that and be like, all right, these are the people we're really going to look at.
Yeah, so remember that section this is exactly what he was talking about. Remember when he says esports player, and then they're going to most likely say that they want less RNG? That's correlation, right? So this is generating a correlation right here for every single possible combination of comparisons, right? So here I've been manually doing it. So this one's obviously going to take a hot minute, but then you're going to instantly see the correlations of this data. And then I'll show you exactly what they're going to be using in this one. Just a sneak peek there. And I'll explain how that works. Okay, so here's all the data, right, for every possible combination. The way this works is that it puts every index, every feature, I should say, on the left side, and then on the right side, the bottom here as well. And then, so all the unnamed compared with all these stuff here, right? So as you could say, in this middle one, the credit card obviously has no correlation to anything. This is like normally distributed. This has poor correlation, stuff like that. But then there's this right here. Look at that correlation. So there's obviously a positive trend going on here. It's nice and tight, almost a line between the length of the membership and the yearly amount spent, right? So there's automatically here is a correlation. So we run this. This is called a heat map, which is going to show the strength of, or as we could say, the R score, basically, of the correlation of this. So the higher it's closer to 1, that means it's a stronger correlation. If it's further from 1, it's weak. So obviously, yearly amount compared with yearly amount is going to be 1.
Hey, I'm going to need to pause you for a second because if not, I know you'll go for 3 hours. Give me one second.
Dude, yeah. Good question. Why are you explaining this to everybody?
So
I am
I know everything that you're talking about.
Wait.
Hold
on. You got over me too.
Surveillance is dying.
Hold on. I am trying to do a Jackbox party games for the Midnight Society community falling on the heels of AMA. So, if you would like to join me in the Jackbox party games, I'm moving down 1 channel. Everybody's welcome.
Oh, they're fun, by the way.
Sounds good.
I'm gonna beat you guys.
I'll be down there shortly.
I want you guys know
Yeah, that puzzle, the last one that we did, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be I'm gonna beat somebody's ass in this game.
So yeah, just to completely wrap up, because anything beyond this is just machine learning stuff. But this is more along what I was referring to is that there's obviously going to be some correlations in their survey that they're looking for. So if it goes against this, right? If it's not, so like based off of this data, the length of the membership and the yearly amount spent is just an example. But in his example, if an esports player and less RNG are not matching, that is a little sus, right? If it says that a esports player wants to have a correlation with RNG, and like they say they are an esports player, but
because
they
it's
also
a different
want RNG elements, that doesn't correlate.
because of the
That's
fact
what he's
that
referring
the God bless America. I've got so much going on in my head right now. These guys need to stop.
That's all.
The amount of THC in the CBD edibles is so low that like I could have a container of those CBDs and I could just
Are you talking to us
and eat them and then leave.
I don't think
and
he's
go
talking
take
to
a
us.
test and be good. Like it's just so minuscule, and it's like
I'm gonna go join the-
they're
Drums, yeah, Drums doesn't know he has his own conscious.
They tell you need to pee like 2 ounces in a cup.
Yeah,
So
Drums
it's probably
has
like
I'm gonna give him a call.
I'd say
That's so
she's got a conversion chart here.
I just muted him.
Everyone stopped to let him talk.
We were like,
wait, he's got a conversion chart for CBD to THC.
I mean, hey, that's
What is
some
he
pretty
talking about?
devoted shit. I don't know how to mute after this, but I love how he was talking about pretty much not being happy and satisfied with any of the games out right now, and pretty much just speaking the minds of just about everybody into that server.
Who was the guy that was talking about that stuff?
Lou, how do you say
it was 402, I think it was.
Was it? I thought it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, 402.
402.
Oh yeah, it was 402.
He was like,
he kind of sounds like
Alright, guys, I'm gonna go run into some Jackbox games if you guys want to join us.
What's his name?
All right.
Where is he? Now I gotta.
You guys,
It's gonna be very interesting.
Have you ever seen a scatter plot before? Y'all want to?
Oh, lore. That's who.
Scatter plot.
He kind of sounds a little bit like 40. But that shit was nice.
I think I need to go over my application again.
Especially the PTSD with the dead silence.
Good stuff.
Well, honestly, for the application, just put honestly what your interests are, because in reality,
No, I did.
If you don't put what your interests are, you're gonna be doing something you don't like, and then you're just not gonna participate.
Mm-hmm.
And if they choose you because of it, they choose you because of it, and they don't, they don't. But honestly, I guess if what you really want to do is get into the game, I guess put what you think they want. But
What I'm talking about is I originally put myself as a content creator, and then after watching that, I was like, well, I just started, so it doesn't make sense to put myself as a content creator on there. And so then I'm going to change myself to player and change what
that's fair.
If I need to change like things that don't really correlate with
just think about the possibilities. Yeah, just think about the possibilities though, that they could actually group you into the categories that you picked based on the surveys. And then,
of course.
And then the data they collect will be based on what you picked on those surveys. Some people say it's minuscule. Some people say it's minuscule, but I think it serves a greater purpose. They're trying to weed out the peoples that they want and that they don't want, or weed out the excessives versus what they don't have of. So like, for example, like the guy's chart makes a lot of sense if you were actually if anyone was paying attention to it.
Yeah,
it did. No, it made lots of sense.
And that's usually how they choose what they want. So I mean,
Come out
if they have like, for example, if they have 9,000 esport players and they only have 500 creators, best believe they're gonna look for people who's more content creators. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. No, without a doubt.
But
100%.
I mean, at the top of everything, in my opinion, you should put what your own preferences and what your own, like, where you're actually going to enjoy most at, because at the end of the day, because if they put you into a playtest area, or if they go on with these guilds or whatever, and you go into those guilds with something that you don't like, you're just not going to enjoy it.
Yeah, no. That I made sure to do all that. The only problem I was worried about was the content creator thing, because that's after he made it seem like mostly big content creators are going to get like be put in, which makes sense, right? And so I was like, okay, well, I'd rather be a player, and then just also do content creation with it, especially if there's not going to be an NDA, like, you know what I mean?
Well, word. I'm not gonna say. I don't know if that person will get in trouble, but they're in, I think it was yesterday or the day before. They said that somebody specifically said that there will be no NDA, and they specifically want people to stream it, to show it off, to make videos about it, so that the game can grow. So,
yeah. But then in the thing today, they were like, the vast majority of people are going to be players, like to the point where they were like discrediting content creators. So that's what got me.
who was discrediting content creators?
Not discrediting, but like saying they were looking way more for players rather than content creators, because they want players to make decisions.
Of course, because I mean, at the end of the day, it's you're gonna have maybe at tops like 5, like maybe like 50 to 100 high profile content creators versus a vast majority of players. You know?
No, yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I'm saying like I would rather just put myself as a player, because at this point it doesn't really make much sense.
The
best bet is just to be truthful about it.
Let's be honest.
No, yeah. I mean, and I'm going to be a player and content creator anyway, so like,
right.
So I mean, I'm not being untruthful. I'm just basically changing one box.
That was the thing I was going to do, is go back through and look at a couple things, because I was at work while I was doing it. I just don't know if that's going to reflect negatively against me. Like, do you think it's okay?
What is okay? Like if you choose content creator?
No, I'm not. I'm player all day. I think there were just a couple things in there that I wasn't sure about and clicked real quick, just because I wanted to get it done. And I read the time as 7 hours instead of 7 days, dude. I was cutting down.
Well, I mean, do you have an airdrop?
Yo, yeah, I'm in. It's just they want.
It shouldn't affect you anyway. It's not going to affect you anyway.
This is specifically the application is specifically for choosing someone.
Well,
to join.
Like fill it out anyway, because they're gonna look at it. Like I don't know. I feel like they're gonna look at them and be like, all right, this dude's gonna be a better gun skin designer. This dude's gonna be better with ideas for maps and things like that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, but when was the final?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
The only thing you got to really think about is what do you enjoy. That's like
you're saying.
Right. If you have an airdrop,
like,
you could be as true to yourself as possible. My bad, bro.
No, you're good. You're saying like. Later on, after everybody's picked, they're going to look at everybody's application afterwards and be like, oh, you like this, so I'm going to put you in this group? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, something along those lines.
I see. And you thinking that's going to screw you? I see.
Well, it sounded like
I'm just curious
if going for an idea of self-governance, like we would kind of choose amongst ourselves who goes where.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. I'm definitely going back to look at it just because I was rushed, but all right. That makes
also, this is literally just a survey. They've said explicitly that the answers that you choose are not binding in any way. So
of course.
They could lie about that so that people choose. Yeah, so you can choose actually like what you actually want, like versus what you think they want.
Well, they're using it to filter for sure, but
exactly.
Well,
it's not like if you choose that you're interested in this guild, then that's what you're going to have to go into because that's what you chose in the survey.
I just say be true to yourself mostly, and especially if you have an airdrop, be as true to yourself as possible.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Truth to the week.
Not sure how I feel about Geeky Pastime saying that they didn't answer anything in the AMA today.
Well,
Seems a little angsty to me.
It's because he's just not hearing what he wants to hear. Like, if you've really been reading what he's been typing in the chat for the past couple days,
it's just been like angst.
Yeah, it's not constructive or anything. He doesn't want to hear anything. Like,
he just blasted them on Twitter. Like, who does that? Like,
we've been and the video. Did you see the video that he made too?
He's behaving like a games journalist.
He's behaving like a Twitter gamer. What the hell?
Everybody's just been saying don't even respond to him because it's just like there's no point.
I don't even know who you guys are talking about. Nor do I want to.
Don't even bother. Don't even bother.
You don't want to know. You don't want to know.
I only take a little bit of offense to it because me and Geeky have been working on this for a little while, so
that's what kind of sucks is that like he's like one of the main OGs, but I mean if he's gonna be like this, just cut loose, man. Just leave. Like,
He's the reason why he joined in the first place because he saw his reel. So it's weird to now like see him just be so against it, you know? When it's like you're the
I left a bad taste in my mouth for sure.
Yeah, that's sus.
He really is. I just got to his Twitter. This is sad.
I don't even want to look. I don't even want to see.
my God.
The night of the end of the ARG, where like everybody finished it for the first time, he was in here and he live casted his production of his video that he was making, and he was like, one of the things he said was that he wasn't like, he looked into Dr. Disrespect a long time ago, and he wasn't really into all the macho, like his characters.
Like, what are you doing here?
But he's kind of mellowed out over time. It seems like what?
that criticism just seems like unreal. Like for what?
For how little information he actually has about the game, that's a pretty stark like call out.
The biggest issue I think he found with it is the NFT, and
but it's like he used the buzzword to go off his rail.
Yeah, 100%. But to be fair, in his aspect, like playing devil's advocate, you know, NFT does have a really bad, you know, stigma to it. And
there's a connotation, but I think his whole thing is kids. He's like, kids are going to get into buying and trading NFTs. It's like, well, then stop making content about Midnight Society, because kids aren't going to watch his video and go, "Oh, this geeky guy I've never heard of is totally right." Even if he's negative, they're going to be like, "Oh, well, Doc's doing this thing." They're going to side with Doc and do it anyway. So,
but I don't think it's neither gambling neither. The whole thing about it is gambling, right? They don't want kids to gamble. I get it, but how is acquiring NFTs in the game and selling it? I don't think.
That ain't gambling. That's trading.
I think
that's
it's
trade.
funny.
They do it with Pokemon all the time.
This is literally just history repeating itself. Like, if you look at how, like, when Bitcoin was started, everybody's like, "Bro, that's not even real money. Why are you getting that? What the fuck? Like, what's wrong with you guys?" Like, do you remember that?
Millionaires.
Exactly.
And then we'll be sitting there with our fingers laughing at them.
Exactly.
Like, hey,
like,
you
it's
want
literally the same
you want
shit,
an NFT?
different year. It's hilarious to me.
Let's look at Neo Tokyo and see what they did.
Well, personally, I have no care for the monetary growth of the NFT, or if the skins become valuable. I personally have no care. My biggest care.
I just want to make a good game.
I want them exactly. I want a game that can compete against the likes of Call of Duty and Battlefield, because we get the same games that they don't listen to us over and over again. I honestly don't care about the NFT portion. I don't care about trading skins. I just want to see a good, solid game. That's my biggest.
I
haven't
had one of those in so long. Asked, will there be randomized loot boxes for the NFTs or not? Like,
I mean, but you don't. That's optional. That would be optional.
I wouldn't mind it as long as you knew what you were getting.
There won't be. It's only 10,000 of them, anyways.
Yeah, I don't think there will be, but I mean,
it basically is. If you think about it, like
that's
I mean, the character PFPs. They're going to be random either way. So I mean, in itself, it's kind of like a random loot box. But
yeah, but you can't make another founder's account to get another PFP. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that loot box,
yeah, that's true.
You know, that loot box kind of it doesn't make sense to call it a loot box. At least as of right now, you know.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't call it one. I would say it's like slightly similar to one.
I mean, because listen, if you're calling the profile the PFPs, if you're calling them loot boxes, you might as well call Minecraft worlds loot boxes, because they're the same thing.
Yeah.
Procedurally generated worlds. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
So
Well,
that argument is kind of corny.
Even less though than like Minecraft generated worlds, because you can't get another one.
Well, yeah.
You know
I mean, you can always
like
just
you
roll
can't
it.
just
Yeah.
you can't just re-roll it. Where in a
No,
Minecraft one you can. So
I agree, but yeah, you also can't make another account.
Is like whenever you're getting the cosmetics, are we thinking they'll be generated by a loot box transaction, or is it just going to be like the COD store where you just go in there and say, oh, they have this stuff in there.
And you get what
for this week, you know, $20 for this.
Well, I don't think they know yet. Like, I think that's what we're gonna come in and we're gonna be like tell our thoughts, and then they're gonna figure it out.
Well,
They're gonna figure out how to do it.
I heard that it was possible that the founders could get early access to VisorCortexes, which would imply that maybe there's going to be a store of some sort, or like an auction house of some sort.
Yeah.
Can you buy it with real money? Who knows? Can you buy it with in-game currency? Who knows?
Last night the
it's a lot
devs
of
were
speculation.
talking about merch being a definite thing. Like,
yeah, that's the thing. It's a lot of speculation.
And
I really don't think they know much about what they want to do. I think they have an idea, but they're going to leave most of it up to us, and I think a lot of people don't understand that.
Well,
and they can't grasp that in their brain.
Have you guys been
we're still building on that. Not everything's like predetermined. I think that is kind of not fully understood, to be honest.
but they did say that the variant group would be the first ones to get access to the merch. They did say that.
True.
Yeah. Like we have early access or something like that.
Like,
shoot.
Sorry, I'm just gonna stop. I'm just gonna rage about Geeky. I'm just thinking directing people to his YouTube channel. No, I'm not going to your YouTube channel to give you clicks, you cock. Like, shut up.
Don't even bother, because negative.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, yo, I'm surprised the devs ain't kicking him out. To be honest, just because
negative publicity is still publicity.
You know what you do?
They're like,
you want
He wants that to happen.
You should go to his YouTube channel, watch like the first 9 seconds, and then exit out. That's how you fuck his channel.
Nah, it's like I said, it's really not even worth it to care about it.
Hey,
yeah,
let's not.
just don't give it any
Let's
detail.
let's keep it kosher, guys.
Let's
keep it kosher.
Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's not.
Keep it kosher.
The best way to do it is just to ignore. He'll eventually
Get
get tired.
that gin and tonic. Get the rocks.
And there's like,
swirl that shit around. Take a nice gulp.
What if everybody just blocks him on Discord?
Who's Geeky passed on? Who's Geeky passed on?
I'll call for what it is. I'll call it for what it is.
Let's just
guys,
he was one of the OGs here, and
best thing to do.
The game. Back to talking about the game.
For a lot of us. So yeah, I mean, let's just leave him at his thoughts.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
He can have his own
On a more
opinion.
general
He
subject,
did a lot
I mean,
for
at the
this
end of the day,
Discord, so yeah.
NFTs are secondary. Everybody's excited about the game. The game will be dope. We all get to give our input. Let's just be happy about that. You know?
Yeah,
awesome.
Exactly.
If somebody has an opposing view, just let him have that view, okay? Like,
I just wanted to make.
We don't need to have arguments. We don't need to have.
Just not bring him out.
Guys, one at a time. One at a time. Everybody has the chance to speak one at a time.
He who shall not be named shall not be talked about.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, we should not talk about he who should not be named.
Why don't we move on?
Something I was trying to figure out.
Hey, what's that out the window?
Wait, what?
I was trying to figure out. I asked a few people why have it on the blockchain? Why use that platform other than security? Because
secured variant 402.
I think the whole point is they could do everything they're planning to do on their own server, not on the blockchain. But why wouldn't they use something that's already set up? Like, they already have smart contracts to pay people who make content. Like, it's all already there. Yeah. They don't have to code that, set that up. So I think that's why it's running on that.
Yo, Mitch,
one thing.
You were in here, man. Should I reinstall Warzone and come play with you sometime?
You'd be better off just downloading the Circle.
I mean, we could definitely. I actually saw Doc playing that.
I'm about to play it after I'm done with this podcast.
I've got to sell cars until 8:30, so I got a little more time at hell.
Yeah, there you go.
Who was just talking to me? Let me open up Discord.
I'm definitely excited for the guilds though. That's going to be so sick to me. That's so interesting to me.
It's super awesome.
We were catching some wins on Warzone a couple weeks ago.
Where are you?
Then I uninstalled.
What were we talking about?
Code Pug.
Oh, sorry.
You uninstalled?
Yeah,
well, we were catching dubs.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, you catch dubs when you play with Mitch. Just saying.
Oh yeah. I know. One other Mitch, and he is a godsend for sniping on PC.
You may have been the guy, one of the games where
XWAS Mitch.
Like I went into one of the little buildings at that little like rice paddy looking place where it has all the little huts on the like left side of the map or whatever it is. I don't remember. Like I said, I've got the game on install right now. But
send me a DM.
Yo, so on the
I'm always down to good games.
On the survey, there's a question that says number 11. Would you be interested in using other players' character loadouts on a trial basis?
I actually have a good point to come up with that. I have a good point to come up with that.
Why would they test that?
So
that means that you can use other player characters or loadout by somehow being rented.
Yeah.
And that person would be
well, then I guess
able to get something in return.
Their own designs or like items that you get in game.
Yeah. Imagine this
on a blockchain, or is it just going to be a regular game?
Imagine this. You have someone that built let's use the terms we use in Warzone, a meta loadout, and you would like to try out. It's like, oh my god, look at Z-Laner, because I'm hearing in the background right now. I don't know who's
he makes
watching
the best
him.
loadouts.
So for example, there is a guy who builds a really insane loadout in the game. And it's like, wow, look at that. It's so sick. I like the design. Or
I see.
What does it look like? Like the TTK, or how does this weapon in the ADSing or sprint to fire or whatever? And then you ask, can I use it? Yeah, then you can use his loadout, and then in return, you will be rewarded. That's how it works.
See, I was
searching someone's loadout.
One at a time, please. We can understand each other.
Grab the loadout and drop the guns and do all the swapping. I think that's what they're going for with that question.
I was thinking more like recommended loadouts, like, oh, I want to try the Doc's loadouts. Let's see. And you just search up his name or something and be like, oh,
you will be able to use it.
Here,
you will be able to use it towards that process. That's what they are talking about. If you want to use the Doc loadout,
or if someone killed you.
Yeah, this is like if you want to use it every match.
What a question.
If you use it when you pick up from the ground, hold on. If you use it when you pick up from the ground, when it's finished, it's finished. When the match is over, you go back, you don't have that loadout because you don't bring the guns with you.
Sorry, can I just say something? They did mention that they didn't want it to be pay to win, so it's not going to be like, I don't think new dudes are going to jump in and then all of a sudden have Doc's loadout or Z-Laner's loadout. It's going to be super OP, so it's not going to work like that, I don't think, because they already said that they don't want it to be pay to win.
No.
That's also
Here, let me throw my conclusion out there. I got a really good idea. In one of the questions, it also says, let me pull it up real quick. Profile. It said something about mercenary. So you get either the choice between getting mercenary XP, or I think it was character XP. Okay, here it is.
Yeah.
So mercenary XP for characters used, or weapon XP for weapons used, or progress towards unlocking that loadout. Now, I could see it being like this. Like, there's a mercenary section you can go to where people like either will pay you for your loadout, or you pretty much pay them to use your loadout or something like that. Say like, because I know it said you like some people could like share XP. It said, would you want somebody to give you XP while playing on your account? Like, say you basically pay a mercenary to play on your account with in-game cash, not like real cash, and then they would pretty much therefore level up your account with XP. But I don't know if like the like deaths and stuff would count towards you. I'd say more or less just the loadout itself would get leveled up, and like say the gun with the XP.
I do think that this is for well, it's asked about in the testing thing, right? Wait, come on.
What you're talking is the 13 point on the website, Midnight Society.
Right? Yeah.
So what it says is like, would you like would you be interested in using other players' character loadout on a trial basis? And then you can select between mercenary XP from the character used, weapon XP from the weapon used, or progress towards unlocking that loadout. So it's up to you to reply what suits you better, right? And and the answers is going to be different in this 10,000 and so on from now on. Everybody that submit the application in the website, right? So it's really up to you. How do you want to develop yourself within the game? It's like if you're using that loadout, you want to have like weapon XP used or mercenary XP used, like your own character, develop your own character, or if you want to work your way up towards unlocking that specific loadout, so you will have it later on.
Mm-hmm. Could I speak then, please?
How do we become a pre-variant in the Discord?
Pre-variant, you have to do the verification. You know, the command
I did that.
/verification at your name.
It didn't work.
You might gotta wait because the bot is currently just experiencing
the bot is being crashed because people have been spamming.
So many people coming in. Okay.
Oh man. Yeah.
So what were you saying? Someone's like, they've been trying to talk for like an hour now.
Might have been Taco, maybe.
Yeah, it's me. Anyway, I'm pretty sure it's a testing thing. I don't think it's like an in-game like mechanic where you pay somebody to like use their stuff. I think it's for just us testers, is what I'm like reading it by.
Yeah, I can see that.
I agree with that.
I was going a little bit over the edge and beyond, though, for some reason.
If it was just for testing, what would the XP have anything to do? You wouldn't think that would have XP in it, would you?
Well, I don't get it. I think we'd have to learn more about it more.
Yeah, that's the thing. Figure it out. Speculate all day, but
maybe in the next AMA we could probably pose that as a question.
Yeah, I wanna argue real quick the point where someone said that it could be pay to win to use the best classes. I think if the weapon balancing is really well done, I don't think there would be such a thing as pay to win or overpowered. Like it just would be use a different gun skin or use a different VisorCortex. Like that's not necessarily pay to win. It could just simply be, hey, that's their specific loadout and you get to try it out, and thus because you try that loadout out, you gain some type of experience either for your
I wonder if it's like how people make YouTube videos for COD loadouts. Like it's like use these attachments for this gun and use these. You could just use it in the game, and then they get points or credits for other people.
Yeah, they said all of the paid stuff is cosmetic.
Guys, the things you guys have to understand with these questions. This is a possibility in the future to be inserted in the game. But
what's interesting is this is a survey. So like, that means they have an idea of what they want.
Anything
they are asking us, do you agree with what we want? Like, you know what I mean? Like that's how I kind of see this. Like, are they looking for people who wants to progress towards unlocking that loadout, or do they want somebody who wants to a mercenary XP for character use? Like, I think they're trying to look for people with the same mindset as themselves.
Well, I honestly
this is just for the process of selection of the 10,000.
HF. I think at this point, everything we talk about in this VC is just hypothetical and just what we might see.
Yeah.
I think we all know that.
But as they said specifically, and LaRue said specifically, this is a process of selection. That doesn't mean this is what actually is going to happen in game.
That's a good
point. It's for them to understand who's going to be granted access to be a founder for those 9,500, and if this information correlates what they are expecting to find out. And that, as Doctor said yesterday in the stream, we are looking for the best. So best within the category they are looking for. A casual player, a guy who wants to develop weapons, another guy who wants to do skins for characters, another one who's more involved into the mechanics of the game, another one just focus on mapping and levels, design. This is what they are trying to do, because we are the ones who's going to be in direct contact with the developers to develop this game along this journey until the game is launched.
Yeah, we know that, AJ. Like, but honestly, we're just here theorizing, coming up with ideas, and
we're just
going off of the survey to come up with ideas.
Well, I think the best point to say it also is that we won't know what works until we actually put it into practice. So we can speculate here for as long as we're here.
As long as
I think an interesting aspect to look at is the fact that, like, going back to the play testing. Obviously, you can't have people just having the meta gear straight off the bat, but I feel like there's multiple ways in which they could balance it. So, for example, they could have a time limit or a set amount of time that you're able to actually test those things, so you don't automatically have it straight off the bat or have it for too long of a time that you're able to just gain XP for whenever you like. So I'm assuming they could add like a cooldown so that you can't like consistently pick people's loadouts just to upgrade guns that you want to have.
The thing I understood in the AMA, one of the answers of 402 was like, you guys will have access to, some parts of the game to test it out, all these things. And by doing that, we will give feedbacks and say, like he said, I like the fast DTK. Another one would say, oh, I like the tactical, more kind of shooting. And they will figure it out towards, the majority of the opinion to satisfy the majority of the community. And I think that's really important. And the best thing of all this is that for a fact that we know we'll have access to test these things before the game is launched, because all the other game industry, what they did, all the other studios is like, we're gonna build this, put it out there, and people just go there like dogfight and try to figure out what works best.
Well, also they said that they're gonna be using telemetry data. So, like, for example, they're gonna be seeing like, hey, like most people are using the M4 loadout. And so maybe the M4 is a little overbalanced. Let's tone it down a notch. They're going to use that as well.
We are helping to make this game. On the contrary of all the games we had until now. If you have a beta test, it's like for you to go in and start playing to see how the game is.
Assuming we're all founders.
I'm hoping that the classes are going to be more in depth than just your weapon loadouts. I'm hoping there's going to be more to it, like maybe stats and things. But
I heard gadgets.
That's just me.
Well,
I heard gadgets.
Strength, dexterity.
Gadgets could be anything.
I have a
question. It could be a wingsuit. It could be a wingsuit. It could be a grapple.
Yeah.
I want it to be a bit like Dead Space, like you have
What if you started from nothing?
Upgrade your stuff as you go.
Yeah. What if you started from nothing and just like upgraded stats, like stats to whatever?
Like upgrade one specific gun. Yeah,
so you can like build your build however you want.
Yeah.
Balance, speed, momentum.
I'm pretty sure. That will be able.
I have a question for all of you.
So
it's moving on, but what would each of you like to see in this game? It's honestly interesting to me, and we could maybe talk about it more.
I would I don't know why, but what I would really find super interesting is if like there was no main menu and you kind of just like walked to like, I don't know, like different game modes, right? So like you would walk to the battle royale or you just hang out in the middle area.
I was gonna say this is gonna sound like a really bad example.
I wanna
hold on, guys.
I want to hear this example.
Let the man talk.
I was gonna say it's gonna be a really bad example, but it links to what you were saying there. Is with like if you've ever been on one of the Minecraft servers and you can walk into like the survival games, or you could walk into like block wars or bed wars. So an aspect like that would be really cool. Just have the home hub, and then be able to make your way into different game modes depending on like what your preferences are.
Have any of you guys played like Riders Republic?
Yeah, I did.
So like that main area, you know what I'm talking about? And like you can walk to the different areas, that would be sick as hell. Like that's what I was thinking.
It's like you select your own mission.
Yeah.
You can select your own mission, where to go and what to develop more, like snowboarding or downhill or
Exactly.
Real quick, I want to argue that point, and I want to argue that point in the terms of like So have you guys played like the recent Call of Duties where the menu is very dynamic and like you see the people walking? That's that actually makes your systems run a lot slower than you would if you just had a menu. And I understand that we're in a moment in time where like cosmetic and graphics and like all this is very important. But I think a very simplistic menu where it's not gonna burn your system, like like my PS5, it shoots fire, and sometimes my graphics card shoots fire when I'm loading these games up. I think
True.
a game a game that's designed optimally might be the best option at first, and if they could figure out a way to make it better in that sense and make it more like flashy, cool. But I think simplistic like is the most important for right now, just for like the systems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
To point out what you said. Hold on a second. To point out what you said, I don't know. I don't know if you have been seeing the latest Doc stream in Elden Ring. He had an intro in his stream that he has been checking menus or in-game menus best of all. So he was actually pointing out towards some menus that were very conflictive and a lot happening all the time. And he said, he commented in some of them, I want, look at this, so simple, so clean, really nice. And I can, how can you not press play on that button? It's simple, clean. That's what we are looking for. And I'm pretty sure Doc, as being a co-founder of this game studio, he will go through that subject.
But it's still going to be a discussion no matter what.
Sure.
So what about an optionality toggle?
Hold on, one at a time.
Well, it's important to remember though that this is going to be on Unreal Engine 5. So if they implement the nanite system to where you're looking at a guy who's like lower polygon, depending on like which menu you go into, like you go into your customization menu, then it's not going to fry your graphics card as much,
No, but this I get his question. His question is about like, besides the cosmetic, are we going to have like a menu that you have to go through all this kind of bullshit navigation and try to find what you really need and spend time in a menu instead of having something like is really straightforward? For example, if we take Tarkov, for example, you have that main column that you have Escape from Tarkov and you have traders and all these things. It's pretty straightforward. Well, when you're inside of one of those menus, you can, go to the market, all these contractors and blah, blah, blah. But it's straightforward. It's clean. And Doc was mentioning in this kind of streams, in menus and in-game menus, it was pointing out various times, like for the most simplistic and the most direct form to get into a game. So I'm pretty sure, I'm positive, even though it's built in Unreal Engine 5, which I work with, and I know it's not gonna fry your graphic card, but it's not about only your hardware, but also
everybody's.
People.
That's a key point.
The thing is, and that's why Star Citizen is kind of chalk, because Star Citizen requires you to have a pretty good rig, right? And it's just not a viable option for most people out here, right?
No.
So
I'm in Star Citizen since 2014, and I can tell you, I'm pushing many times on the feedback that they must find a way for the game to go towards the graphic card instead of the CPU.
I agree 100%, because right now, bro, like most people can't play it. Like the average person,
I can play it, but I have a supercomputer at home because I work with Unreal Engine and renders and shit. I have a Ryzen 9. I have 2 graphic cards in one of my setups, and I can play it without any. Yeah, because I do simulate.
Yeah, but most people, like the average person, you gotta understand, like there's a reason why games like Valorant.
Because Valorant is easy to play.
Yeah. Although it can run a potato computer, like it has to be able to run the highest computer and potato
the lowest. Yeah. But that makes sense.
Mandatory for any game. Otherwise, that game will have a very small niche.
And that's why taking to this survey, there is a question asking what kind of setup do you use? Is it a console gamer? Are you a console gamer? Are you going to use this game in a console or in a high-end PC or a normal setup or whatever? For them to understand what is the majority. By understanding what is the majority, what happens? If the majority is like middle rig to lower rig, they will have to easy on the game.
But did they ever actually specify anywhere what they considered to be the mid-range rigs?
No, they know, and everybody knows, of course.
I think alongside that, it's also because you've got like the increasing trend on YouTube and stuff where tech YouTubers would actually specifically build PCs based on what games people want to play. For example, you could probably look up best cheap gaming PC build in order to play Valorant, and you'd get hundreds of versions of that. And to be honest, I don't see any difference with this. Whereas when in the future, they're probably going to say like best cheap gaming PCs to run most games, especially Elden Ring's probably a huge one right now. Because most people want to play it but don't have the capability if they say they have like a laptop to play the game.
One thing we can expect from these developers, they have various backgrounds. They've been in game industry for many years, and I'm pretty sure for all of us, at least I speak for myself, in this AMA, they were pretty open-minded, you know.
They were.
And
Very.
Yeah, and they are, by being open-minded, I mean, they are like, guys, we have to, I'm gonna use the term of Warzone, holding hands together to make this happen, but in a good sense, right? So every voice, everyone will be heard. It's like, for the fact is like, I would like to play this game, but I have a mid-range computer, and if your game only runs in the the latest graphic card, I can't afford a latest graphic card. I'm pretty sure they're not gonna do that.
To me, they said that they've
they can stretch it. They can stretch it out on the console version. Like the next generation console. They can stretch it because the console can handle it, and already inbuilt, right? So you don't have to think about anything. But for PC players, they will have to come up with an option that can be run by, like someone said, I don't remember, from a potato computer to the IN.
Real quick, can we go back to Taco's original point? We're going off on a tangent. He said his original question was
going off.
That
man is hurt.
Hey, I think we covered that topic. No.
Let it run.
Let's hear it.
I think we covered. So whoever wants to go next, and then we can talk about that next topic as well. About what do you want to see in the game that we haven't spoken of yet? That's what Taco said.
Can I
jump in here real quick with a question of my own?
I think some of you, only one of you reply that, right? Or two of you. Well,
I was just going to say good audio.
Yeah, that's going to be for sure, Doc. And I can tell you,
where's the audio?
Two audio engineers have been fired already.
Ooh,
so.
Wow.
And yesterday, yesterday was a guy here. Yesterday was a guy here in the voice chat. Oh, I never work on AAA games, but I'm I'm a producer and audio engineer. I was thinking, how do we do with this process if the game studio already has audio engineer or something? And everyone was like, yeah, you're free to go and send your CV, and there's open application for that or whatever. But of course, try to think not 2 times before you talk to the but at least reevaluate yourself before you send something, because if 2 of them probably with a lot of experience in AAA games has been fired already, that's a position that tends to die quickly. So I don't know. I'm just saying. So
Position that
audio.
you got to do right. What?
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
One question that I saw during the AMA that wasn't answered. That
I'm hearing you too low.
Yeah, you're low.
Yeah, you're low, man.
They need Michael Bay's audio guy.
Okay.
And they need to get him on this guy's quiet microphone.
I had said there was one question during the AMA that I was curious about that I don't know if they're gonna answer it or something. But it was one that I really wanted to hear them answer. Basically, I saw one question that said, like, how are they going to distinguish people who are serious?
All this stuff's on his desk.
Like, who are serious about wanting to like join to participate in the game's development and get the rewards and join, like, be a part of the community versus those who just came in like looking for the NFT, or those who aren't going to contribute. Like, how are they going to separate those applicants, and how are they going to know? Like,
well, it's through the survey.
They're going to see who was most active in the
I was going to say activity.
Hold on, guys, one at a time.
You know how you can add all of your social medias, like your Steam, all of that stuff, your PS4 or Xbox.
Yeah.
They're gonna look at all of that, and they're gonna see how long you've been playing games. They're gonna look at the Discord, how active you've been here. They're gonna look at, the thing you filled out, the to become a PV, you have to fill out that you do the code thing, and then you do the sectors. After you pass sector 6, it says this adds points to your whatever, your survey.
Yeah, to your application, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
and
that's
the thing
also
is, the thing is, guys, don't forget, if you haven't been playing for a long time, or if you have like not a huge list of friends or whatever, you don't need to be famous to be selected. They made that very clear. We want a casual random player that comes, after a day of work, comes home and just take a few free hours to start playing, to those who are really investing a lot of hours in this game. So they want a variety of opinions and people to get the best results. And that makes sense. Because they're looking to please everyone. Yeah.
Well,
7-7.
If you tie in your Steam profile and your Steam profile is completely set to public, they're gonna see your 1,000 game catalog of.
Yeah,
not to mention Steam too, with the badges.
Yeah, but
Hey guys, real quick.
Yep.
Today's been informative and fun and great. I loved it, but my dinner's ready. So y'all have a good night.
Yeah, enjoy your dinner, man.
You're not inviting us over, bro?
Eat well.
I got nachos. You want some nachos? Come on. Yeah, man. Don't mind some nachos.
Yeah, enjoy, bro.
Enjoy it.
All right, y'all. Take it easy. Well, we'll talk. Take it easy, sir.
Okay.
So if I can, I'd like to use that as like a point back, if we're ready to go back to the question of what would you see in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see something, at least my opinion. I would like to see something that could challenge the way of playing that have we been playing all these games. Because if you take, for example, Warzone, Apex, it's all kind of the same thing. And then you have Tarkov and now the Cycle and
so true.
PUBG, and it's all within the same thing. So I was, what I'm looking for this game is to have a challenge the way of we been playing games until now.
That would be very nice, but my problem is like that's so much easier said than done. But I mean, I feel like
I know.
I feel
they
like the way that this whole thing is set up is it's made in the perfect way where like I'm sure like one of the 10,000 people will have an idea that's just so like mind twisting that's like actually is amazing. You know what I mean? I'm sure someone has an idea out there. But
I have a couple
That's
ideas.
why I feel like we're going in the right direction, right?
Yeah, we are. I have a couple ideas that I will share when it's the time and when they grant access
It's got to
to
be
do
the right
that.
time.
Yeah, and of course, if you, yeah, and if you listen to Doc talking about games, wouldn't that be nice? Halo would do a BR that he can jump from one side of the circle to the other side. You know, use a jetpack or whatever, or you just jump to, all these things. So he has a twist in mind by his own. So we're gonna expect to have something. But the thing here that we have to take in consideration, a regular player that doesn't spend time playing games and he wants something to just relax at the end of the day and just shoot some ducks and have fun, whatever. They also have to.
Would be cool. Sorry.
Hold on. They also have to answer to those people. And those people, if the game has a steep learning curve or if it's really hard to come across with, that's going to be a negative side of it. So, well, we have to see what they come up with, but they have to satisfy everyone.
Again, they could have different modes, like for each.
Different modes. Yeah, different levels for different people.
Again, I think very much that there's not like a huge set in stone thing. I think most of it is going to come from the players.
Yeah.
Like 100%. I don't think
actually mentioned not just being PvP only though. Once before you said PvP, PvE. So I mean, if you get a little bit of PvE in there, that's going to satisfy your less skilled players to some extent.
Was there somebody trying to draw?
You know how there's like a Kingslayer system, right? Where you get more kills and then you become more of a target, If you pick up a bounty, you go after like higher value targets, and you can go after the highest value targets and you get more of whatever they've got, That would be cool. Kind of like the Kingslayer in Call of Duty. That was one of my favorite modes in it, but I could only play a couple of games of that because it was so intense for me. I could only play a couple of games of that, So something like that, like a bounty kind of system where if you're going around killing everyone, maybe your pings are bigger on the radar because you've got so much like bioenergy or nanites or whatever you want to call or something like that,
Probably something like that will show up.
Hello.
Who knows?
I used to love grabbing the most wanted and when I was playing COD just to get people to come out and peek and come find me. Like I'd be like, guys, grab that bounty, kill him. I'm gonna grab this most wanted, and we're gonna make his entire team come towards us.
So
just a quick refresher, or run away from you. It's kind of like a thing. It's not just like there's some dude there and you don't know where he is or whatever. It's like you can either the noobs go after.
Hold on, guys.
Anybody that wants to participate in this, we're updated to a new drawful that everybody can participate in now. So it's not just the people in the game. So if you want to participate in the drawful thing, I'm going to be posting the room code in the Conspiracy Theory channel, and I'm streaming the game itself. So everybody's welcome to join us. It's a good time. It's hilarious because you have to draw and guess other people's stuff. So we'll be in the, what is this thing called? Comms channel 602 if you'd like to join us for drawful.
Appreciate you, Arctic.
Yeah. Please.
I'm also in cycle. Whoever wants to squad up in the cycle.
Hold on.
I just wanted to bring up 2 points.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Taco, go ahead, Taco.
Wait, I didn't say anything. Somebody said my name.
I thought you were.
Did you say something about the bounties?
Okay, who's trying to talk to me?
No one's trying to talk to you. Someone said something about Taco, so I was like, I
thought he was trying to say something.
Oh, no, I do want to say something though.
Yeah, go ahead.
2 points. I'm gonna reach on what Taco said and back on what you HFTO, what you said.
Hugo.
What you said about how the
H.
casual H. Okay, got you.
Yeah.
All right. So what you were saying about the casual and the competitive, I think the most accessible games are the most successful games because the competitive scene is the same as the casual scene. So if you notice the game of Valorant, it's very accessible, and the competitive scene is the same as the casual. It's the exact same game. It's strategy and actual skill. So I think 100% what you said about how a casual gamer will play the game different than a competitive gamer. I think that's very important because once you find that the happy medium between both, and you can you can see the thing that encourages amateur players to want to become pro or competitive is just the fact that it's accessible. And like, for example, in Call of Duty, there's no a ban, like you get this weapon is banned, this attachment is banned, because then it kills the whole game, this whole like gentleman's agreement. And so that's 100% true.
And then gives room to comments like, oh, they are bots. Yeah, they are bots because they don't have a chance to evolve in a different manner, or the game is not built for people that doesn't have more experience
or the
to
understanding.
evolve.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's a very good point, that the casual player should be able to join the same game that the competitive player is playing, and if they wanted to actually reach that threshold of, hey, like maybe I could be a pro one day, like they can actually do it because the game is not different at that higher level. I think that's the issue where like the competitive Call of Duty scene has strayed from the casuals, and
right, before I go, guys, real quick, I just wanted to point out that don't feed Geeky Pastimes. I know I don't.
No,
we don't want to go back to him, but what he would love more than anything, I think, is actually that we get really angry at him and then ban him and take away his airdrop and all that, because that would be such great content for him.
Oh yeah, you make a video. He'll make a big video about it, and be like, "See, this is why I said
listen, guys. This thing. Yeah, no, I know. That's what I said 2 days ago. When he started this scene talking about NFTs and whatever, everybody started to feel like somehow hurt what he was saying about. And the thing is, Geek is the airdrop 0. Do you know what that means?
He's the rich. He's like the first one to get a drop.
Yeah. So listen. He is complaining about something that does not affect him directly because he's guaranteed to have everything.
Yeah, I don't know why we're talking about him.
And listen. I heard a lot of people here in the voice chat in the past 2 days when he started this conversation saying, "Oh, but why is he saying this? And why is he taking down on the devs and whatever?" And I just said, you know what? Everything he's saying, if you feel like you in the same situation as him, is your opinion. You have to respect. This is his opinion. You have to respect. If you don't feel like, hold on. Let me finish. If you don't feel like what he's saying right now, it's to you, ignore it. Let him be. Don't feed. Because more as we feed in this conversation in chat, he's getting more and more attention. And that's not the point in this society.
He feels emboldened when we give him attention. He's like, oh, it's working.
Yeah, but why are we giving attention to something that is so negative? And this has been clarified 100%. I don't know what is his doubt and what is... And the devs has answered his question in the AMA. And he came out from that meeting and start writing. Okay, so now we don't have this, and we don't have they are not focused on play to win, right? Play to earn. And now what can we expect? This is bullshit. He's trying to pick on everything they say. Mm-hmm. So why feed this kind of conversation?
I just don't know why we're talking about him. Like, I feel like
I agree.
This is
change the subject.
Yeah,
once you peak, you're 5 feet deep.
I can make you a quick sum. I can make you guys a quick sum.
Please don't.
Hold on. I can make you a quick sum.
Please don't.
No, I heard you guys on my phone. I was cooking dinner. So.
No, it's really quick.
You're kind of like, let's not talk about what we're talking about.
I have a question so we can move off the topic. Quick question.
Yeah, there we go.
So, as someone, like, I play some PvP games. Like, I play Warzone, I play Valorant here and there. But, like, I play a lot of PvE. And I also work in marketing and all that stuff. So, I'm curious, like, how you guys think, every example that you guys talk about is based off of another PvP game. Where do you think like people that don't primarily play PvP fit in to this build as well?
Well, I feel
anybody with imagination.
If you have ideas, like again, it's gonna be an FPS game, right? So there's gonna be
cheese
takeoffs, but there's also gonna be new ideas about what to have in the FPS game, and that's a big thing. So because you play other games, it doesn't matter. You are a gamer. You want to see this happen, and
proximity chat. Somebody should have
You
asked.
can
find inspiration in a lot of places. You don't have to.
That would
play
add a
PvP
whole
game.
other social aspect to the game as well.
You got to be able to report.
Did you guys
back
ever
onto the PvP
at all,
though?
Did anybody at all mention ranked play yet at all?
Yes, we have
Oh,
talked
thank
about
God.
like
Splitting
were
people for it or against it? I'm all
we were thinking about like splitting games into like competitive, having it
There should
be
be a
more of a
ranked
competitive
playlist
game,
separate from a casual playlist if people
and
want
then
to
the casual and then have some of the gameplay mechanics maybe different. But again, I want to go back to that real quick. So you talked about those games, but I have a game that's the opposite of that. So I've been paying attention to the Fortnite community for a while now, and a lot of it is there's a big disunity between the competitive and the casual game face of it, because the casual players want to see more balanced like loot and not just like this one gun that'll hit hard for everything, and they want to like be able to use fun things in the game. But the competitive people have this like one view, and they want what they want in this game, and it's like been defined,
They'll always go for the best.
They've begun to separate it. I feel they have a test period in casual now, and they test out something in casual, and if it's like good and all, and it's like balanced, they put it into their competitive game. But like I feel like a competitive game should not. I feel like it shouldn't take that much away from a casual experience. If they're different, if they're like the same, if in a way.
I mean, we're probably not gonna have to worry about SPMM for like if they have a casual mode, so that'll be good.
Yeah, I would. It'd be nice just to play games to chill, but at the same time, I want to go into a lobby later on and sweat.
So, because I know Doc's mentioned it a couple of times where he just saying somebody just wants to come home, sit down, and like just relax and play a game and just enjoy a match and just have a good time.
Give me like 10 minutes to warm up and then let me go sweat on somebody. Like, come on.
Yeah.
The things you can never fix though are maybe you can fix Smurfs, but I don't think that's.
It's gonna be hard to Smurf on this because you're gonna have to start from ground zero, and then you may know everything like all the loot spots and stuff, but still it's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be like.
Depends
it won't
on the
be
game.
a big
I'll
problem.
tell you right now,
but...
from Overwatch, it's a problem.
Yo, did you guys
skill-based matchmaking is only.
Yo.
I think
go ahead. Sorry, one of the things I was gonna
one at a time, please.
Greyface was saying something.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. I don't think the way they're gonna have it, I don't think the skill-based matchmaking is gonna matter that much in the battle royale. I think it only mainly matters in the arena shooters.
Yeah.
Because obviously the big dogs are always going to win in the arena shooters, but not necessarily the battle royales because of all the different play styles you can actually choose. So I don't think the skill-based matchmaking will really be a thing.
Yeah, but
again,
SBMM SBMM made a really shitty difference on Warzone, for example. It is a BR, but it still had a big impact and a lot of people don't like it because it ruins their experience.
Yeah, and plus because in saying that the game it's really simple too because you just have your armor and then the basic guns. There's no real way you can customize your style. It's just different guns and same armor, same this, same that. Whereas a dude can, if he's not as good, he can. If you got more customization, more play styles, it sort of takes that away.
I'm gonna just bring attention to back at the ARG. I know the ARG is just concept, but in one of the missions you can choose whether you chose violence, speed, or momentum back to the play styles. I think that's also a pretty fair assessment that maybe maybe there will be stats, and maybe there's like those weapons have like on those stat lines, like violence is like mainly it's DPS, where speed is maybe it's a faster dexterity kind of build, and then momentum,
like no stock.
Yeah, so it's also yeah, so exactly. So it's possible that the game could have RPG elements. But I wanna touch base back on what Lola was saying about how a PvP, like if you're involved in PvP, and you're not that involved with it, how you can kind of like implement it. And I was gonna say specifically, like I think that's where guilds shine. Like, hey, like maybe you may not be the best player in your guild, but maybe you can go play with one of the better players, or like maybe a mentor in that guild, and you can go hunt like field bosses in the game. You know. That way you have someone that always plays with you. That's just an idea that I had.
The more you play, the better you
very
you
good
get.
point, actually.
World bosses would be cool.
Practice,
And the
practice.
reputation thing could fit in with that. That that could be
Yeah, like a mentoring system within guilds, and then maybe like in the mentoring system, maybe they get better rewards. Like, oh hey, like you help the lower player, get a specific loot set, or I don't know exactly how that would be tracked.
Like the Destiny mentor system where people like guided raids and guided.
Exactly.
Yeah, like parties.
Exactly.
Party up.
But in which
I still like the idea that somebody brought up. I think it was yesterday that they mentioned that if you were to go solo versus a team, that if you were to win, you get a better reward overall compared to as if you would team up with somebody.
And I think that's still fair. I think that's still pretty fair because like if I solo entry and I'm slaying trios and quads, like I'm honestly you probably should get a better reward.
Should be rewarded for that.
That's what usually happens in Warzone, anyways.
Like you get more experience if you do it independently versus like with a squad. That would be interesting.
Or maybe more in-game currency. Like a better in-game currency reward at the end of the game.
Feel rewarding instead of just feeling like you're getting shit on by teams. Honestly.
The bad thing about that is again a skill-based match. Like somebody really good at the game could go in and like just play with bad people just to like get their experience up and just ruin their game for like their casual experience.
But I think eventually though, because some games what they do is when they join games, what they'll do is they'll average out the skill base of that team, and then eventually you'll have the worser players playing against better players. So once again, it really depends on what kind of system they implement when it comes to matchmaking. And as far as right now, we don't know that, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I got some potato friends that queue with me, and it's bad.
I'm just saying, like, I also feel like if it's one person who's highly skilled, at least let's say somebody has a KD of like 1.5 versus a team average KD of like 1.0, like if it's 4v1, they have a better chance of getting that one person. If they lose to that one person, then it's just their teamwork. They didn't work out.
Everybody keep in mind though, like a lot of people died day one. When this shit happened,
oh my
like
God,
a lot of people died, and I'm pretty sure a lot of them were like so surprised when we actually got the numbers. What was it?
I died.
Over like
I died. We were trying
to reach 402, but we couldn't. So yeah.
But yeah, it was like some crazy fucking X's all over the place.
So yeah, in relation to that, 402, if we die in the game, are we gonna get a death penalty? Have you guys thought about that since it was related to the ARG? That was something I was worried about because I was like, oh, what if they do have death penalty in game?
Well, I mean, think about like Tarkov. The death penalty is you lose your loot that's not secured.
Yeah, but in the ARG it was more like you can't go back in for a set amount of time.
Yeah, but also remember too that there was a drop. There was an insured VisorCortex and an insured insured Scar? I think it was, right?
Insured. God, that's a lot of weapons.
Yeah, so when you die, you lose everything, but the insured things you keep in your inventory. So it seems like they're also looking into like the idea of, hey, like if you enter this game, you run a risk of losing your best loot if you go in there with like a legendary Scar, you know?
Yeah.
So but imagine that with like a battle royale. So there's this again, there's this tent thing.
Yeah.
In Fortnite, right? You could put things in your tent and you have it for the next game, and you take it out, right? Like if they have that, but if you keep your insured guns, maybe you can take them to the next game. But the thing that's bad about that is other people who don't have like insured guns in a battle royale could just die instantly to this guy with a like full-on loadout, you know?
Yeah, but as is the aspect of the game, you know. Like, what if it's like the way to balance insured weapons where you don't always keep it is put uses on them. So, for example, my insured Scar it only has the 3 amount of uses that I do if I died with him, and then on that third die, it's gone forever. Like if I lose that fight, you know. That's also a way to combat just having the best gun always consistently in the game.
Yeah. What about like you said, if you can have like the best guns, right? But if you put them in like I don't know this little like box thing that takes it away, transports it, teleports away, whatever, or you can keep it for the end of the game where it's more powerful. But if you get rid of it, you get like some kind of nanites or some shit, you know, for later on.
I got a snazzy idea.
You want to go? You from taking the best guns into the end game, just so that you know the best players don't have to take the best guns to the end game. They can sort of get rid of give up the best guns.
Right,
and then,
but also
the worst players can take them into the end game for more chance to win. They're not so interested in nanites or whatever. You know, I don't know.
But think about it this way too: that you can actually pull out that weapon and drop it for your team if your teammate doesn't have that gun as well. You know, that also could be an aspect. Like, hey, like I may have a legendary Scar, and my teammate's starting off with a pistol. And maybe I give him the Scar just for this game, and I'll play with my legendary submachine gun for say. You know, it takes balancing, and all ideas are not always going to always work. It takes trial and error to actually find a system that works to everyone's benefit.
You know what? One idea that I liked. Remember when you played James Bond before, and at the end of the game you'd get like it'd say like frantic or lemming or most dangerous or whatever, like little name tags. You're just sort of known by your play style. I think that should be a thing too. So you can tell what kind of play style a person's got when you're matching up with them, and you can sort of look for other people that you want to match up with. Say you want to go with a team of dudes that are like really good at shooting, or there's dudes that are play more defensive or that get shot less or whatever. Like bullet sponges or whatever you want to call it.
Once again,
some kind of archetype or something.
Yeah. Once again, violence, speed, momentum. You know, like we kind of dealt with that in the game in the ARG.
Yeah. Or Berserker, he doesn't use much shields and just kills everything, crazy type. That'd be cool. I don't know.
We'll slice right on in there. I like the 3 day kind of like, or not 3 day, like the 3 tries and then
it's gone forever.
3 years and it's gone forever.
It's a way to balance like the use. Yeah, it's a way to balance the use of like secured items. It's like, hey, like you have it. Maybe 3 uses. Maybe maybe you pay 10,000 credits and maybe you get one that's 10 uses instead of 3. You know, or maybe you find it in game and it's already secured and then you can use it as per those times. Because like think about the game of Tarkov. Look at people's loot boxes. Like they're like their storage. They have like insane amounts of weapons. People who play the game and are good at it. You know.
I was thinking more like a weapon degrade type of situation, maybe. Like the weapon will degrade and say if it's like about to break and you bring it into a sector and say it's pretty much done and you use it and maybe it'll jam. Maybe you'll have to fix the jam and put in a new clip and empty the round out of the chamber. You know what I mean? Something like that, kind of.
You know what game actually does that? And it's not like a competitive shooter. The DayZ, the Arma 3 mod. Their guns in that game, it actually jams and you have to clear it. That would be a pretty... that would be a pretty...
But it would only be on like lower grade weapons and like the chance would vary throughout the tier list.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that.
So that it wouldn't constantly jam on you, but like say you got a dirty ass AK out of the sewer and it's like got mud and shit all over it. They're not really technically known to jam because they're well known to use to not jam in like desert situations and shit like that. That's why they use it. But mostly, like if it were to be like a beaten up AK or an M4 on the ground just sitting there and you pick it up and it's got like half durability and you start using it throughout the whole section and then all of a sudden it jams on you, then there you know why.
Yeah. For example, DayZ standalone had weapon cleaning kits. So your weapon could be badly damaged, for example, but then you could fix it with the weapon cleaning kit to be worn, for example. And pristine was the maximum. So let's say you break your weapon or you make it less durable over time, but then you can fix it, but never to the first like factory grade. And then over time it degrades even more and stuff like that. That'd be cool, yeah. But that's
I wanted to also bring attention, like if you realize a lot in the concept arts, most of the concept arts they always have like a sword of some kind, like a melee weapon of some sort.
Well, see how the weapons. I think even the weapons themselves, they don't have to be. I don't think they should have to be like your normal weapons. They could come out like nanites, right? As soon as you're not using it, it turns into nanites and just connects back to your suit. So you don't have to be carrying these guns around. You know, it can just pop out of your suit. And once you use it, maybe you have to drop it and get rid of it, and then you can't pick up like another weapon, like sort of like the degradation thing. But instead, it's just like some weapons and abilities have sort of one-time uses or two-time uses, or take away something for the end game, you know. So I think that'd be cool. I just
Oh yeah.
Would you
Were any of
guys
you-
prefer real weapons or made up ones? Would
I
you
think-
like
so maybe
actual
that could be your
military
energy-based weapons. Could come from your actual suit, you know.
Have you
type
seen
of
the image with all the weapons on it?
Yeah.
And they're none of them are real weapons. Like, this is like a different time period. It's not like your new. Like, if you see something like a current weapon, I think that would be okay. But I don't think they're gonna have just everything be like a real life weapon.
Well, I think we're just using like name of weapons just for the sake of using the name, and more so just for the ideas. I don't think we're like saying, hey, yeah, there's definitely gonna be an M4. You know, I think we're just throwing it out there as like you know, for theories and possible ideas. But I mean, yeah, I agree with you. It's a different. It seems the picture with Doc on it with the whole armory, you can see like a lot of the guns on there. It seems like submachine guns, like a LMG kind.
But
A launcher,
would
there
you
was a
stick
launcher.
to normal bullets, or is any ammo like? For me, I would like it to stay normal bullets. For example, I don't think I like some plasma or some stuff like that. But maybe it would be good. I don't know.
Well, I wonder
yeah.
at the stage where they're still trying to figure out whether it's going to be
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
rapid
again,
quick like Rebirth.
Like you could have an energy-based weapon that you shoot like a
slower, like
blob, and it's like a jammer. You know, it jams all the radars in an area, but you only get 5 per game or something like that.
I mean, what you can also say is look at how Apex does it. So energy weapons in Apex destroy shields faster, but it does flesh damage a lot less. Where the kinetic weapons do less damage to shields, but does a little bit more damage to flesh. So that also could be, that could be an aspect to the game as well if there is energy weapons.
Yeah, like hollow points and shit like that.
That's the way to go. I think that's the way to go, man. Because you want it. You want to have that, man. Well, honestly, maybe not exactly the way of shields, but just like
I will say
not exactly the same as thing.
I will say, coming from Overwatch, if I get a Founder's Pass and there's anything about stuns, I'm shooting it down. That's all I know.
Thank
if
you.
anything about a stun, if you're trying to stun jail me, bro, you're done.
We're gonna stun jail
I'll
you.
be okay with it if it's not Call of Duty savvy. If you get what I say.
What if instead of a stun? What if instead of a stun, right? It's not a stun, but you can't run, you can't sprint.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
You know?
No, I feel like a stun, not Call of Duty, obviously, is balanced, right? A stun or a flash. It has to be either or. You can't do if you're gonna go.
I'll take a flash over a stun any day.
I would take a flash over a stun.
I'll take a status effect.
I would take
a
grenade that prevented people from moving fast
penalty,
enough.
but do not make me stand still.
I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay with a stun if it meant that. I mean, like, if you're gonna do a grenade that's gonna slow down people, right? It should be like a grenade that's more AOE than anything else, right?
Listen.
Well, slow down is different than standing still.
If we're gonna put in and tacticals that are overpowered, if we're gonna have lethals and tacticals that are gonna be like status effect, there has to be like
it should be
a time-based trophy
overtime
to block it.
So
guys, one at a time. Come on, it's hard.
We're doing so good. We were doing so good.
We were doing very good because it's hard to understand each other when we talk over each other.
When we get to the point for the developer roundtables, we're gonna need like a talking stick.
There's gonna be a raise your hands thing.
Raise your hand,
yeah. It's gonna be a raise your hand.
For 52 people, we're not doing that bad.
So I have an idea for one of these like these grenade type things. So I hear you about like the no stun. I have an idea. So we're all wearing like visors, right? They're technology based. What if we had a grenade that was like an EMP grenade?
Yeah,
I'm down for EMP.
Exactly what I was thinking.
So maybe you would get like a glitchy screen, like that Battlefield stuff, like a glitchy screen. Your HUD would go all glitchy. Maybe you lose your energy armor.
Can I say
like,
something real quick about that?
Kinetic armor, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds cool as.
Yeah.
All bud wants
You
to say
didn't see
something.
your ammo or health and stuff like that.
Just
I
thinking.
was thinking, what about this? What about, like, say how you were saying a time-based trophy system, right? Instead of being a stun, what if, like, you know someone's in the building, you shoot something at the wall, and over time it drains them, so they have to move. They can't stay there, but it's not going to kill them straight away. But it's kind of like
an ion field,
radiation.
an ion
something
field.
that
Yeah.
drains them over time. So you know they're there, but you're not going to be able to just throw a stun in there and kill them. Like, it's like, oh, we know what are you going to do? Make a move, you know? You can't just. So either side has a chance to do something. It's not just an instant. Oh, you know,
Maybe
can't do
some
nothing.
white
you're dead.
phosphorus.
Yeah,
maybe it'd be a place for
some kind of
gadgets
crowd
or
control,
character
something like that. So you can
Like
make
a-
a decision.
yeah.
You can be like, oh shit, this guy's intention is to kill me. He knows where I am. So you've got there's a bit of chance for you to do something, you know, because it's the worst thing when you're just getting killed instantly. But
I mean,
you know,
the big problem with Warzone stuns is that they're practically impossible to counter. You have nothing you can do to avoid it.
Unless you have.
imagine if you knew, shit, if I don't get out of here in 5 seconds, I'm gonna die. I'm
CS:GO,
gonna get
you
stunned.
can actually turn around and you don't get stunned. In Warzone, that stuff doesn't work. You just turn around. It doesn't matter if it's near you. You're gonna get stunned. You're not gonna see anything, and you're not gonna be able to move. So that's the most important thing with these tacticals is to make a way to counter them.
Well,
So,
we should have a
you guys experienced
keybind.
a concussion grenade or like an actual flash. Like,
no.
Yeah, they're.
Oh my
way
god.
worse than Warzone. Like if they're gonna
Imagine
Warzone
this
tries to be
for-
realistic, but it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
so lame how they did it. I feel like if they're gonna do a stun in a game, right? You should be able to turn away from it, right? I've seen people turn away from flashes during training.
Yeah.
That should be a
Yeah, we
thing.
should have a
In
button to
CS:GO,
close
it's
your
like
eyes.
that, yeah.
I've been called
Close your eyes.
Close your
Coming
eyes.
to Cozy.
Hold on, guys.
I'm
Hold on.
summoning Cozy. I wanted to catch on that. So think about this. We got a visor, right? What if we get an attachment for the visor that'll dampen a flashbang?
That's what I'm saying. A trophy system.
Yeah. No, but it's
too.
built
It makes
into
sense.
your visor though. Like it's like say the
That would be
flashbang
dope.
goes off right in front of you, and it instantly tints, and you don't get flashed.
Like a
Make it
perk,
like
a perk
similar like
to,
a perk, but like just for your visor itself.
Yeah, it'd be like maybe like a one-time use thing, or maybe like a maybe like a
you
2
can
or something.
upgrade
I
your
don't know.
visor at like maybe a place in the game or maybe out of the game, like
you guys-
perks, and
you
you could
guys
just
relate it-
access it. And
If you guys
put it
related to
right
the
in.
parasol idea you had,
Could I-
you
Hold
do
on,
it to
guys.
each time you were to use that, it drains part of your parasol, thus draining your shields, but you're
Yeah.
still not fully stunned. You can still have the chance to get the kill if you
Yeah,
need to,
yeah.
run away, whatever, right? And instead of like it having so many uses, one use, right? It just drains your parasol each time. That's draining your shields, maybe even your mobility. All depends. But I like that.
idea.
Big
Maybe-
So there's a
brain,
penalty
big brain.
in the end game.
Big brain.
So you can't
Maybe
just go through
the-
like doing the best moves through the whole game. So it has to be
Exactly,
some
right? It
kind
has to cost something to make it benefit, right? That's
So
the-
another big thing we could do, honestly, is try to like invent new types of grenades, because this game is different than like real life. And honestly, since we're all wearing visors, I feel like the technology would be so good that we would need other
Like
types
a-
of grenades to like the EMP grenade, for example. That would be
Yeah,
a big
that's a
one.
good
all
idea,
for EMP,
actually.
by the way.
Maybe a recon grenade to like see people through walls.
I'm not a big fan.
like
I'm
that
not a
one.
big fan of grenades that you can see people through walls, or like it'll put you on the mini map.
Yeah.
I think that could be cheese. Now imagine if you're running quads and you got 4 people, throw different like a grenade that can see
What
through walls. on
what
4
if it's a
different parts of
skill
the
shot?
building.
What if it's a skill shot?
Well, I mean, look at
Like
have you played
Valorant.
Titanfall? In Titanfall, you can literally
Yeah,
spam
hold on,
the
guys.
move.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, in Titanfall, you had this like this shot
I
that
know
you
what
can
you're
shoot at the
talking about,
floor.
yeah.
Yeah, and it was a little cheesy because you can
a
see
little
everyone on
kunai.
the mini map. Yeah, you can see everyone on the mini map. You can see everyone through walls, and I don't really like the idea of like Vanguard has this perk where you can spot somebody and there'll be like a heat sensor through walls. That makes absolutely no
Yeah.
sense for the era.
Yeah,
You know?
I agree.
but
I agree.
hold on. Look at this point now. Imagine that you have technology. If we're talking about this as a like in a cyberpunk environment, somewhere in a apocalyptic city in the future, if we have like some sort of a scanner of the building, and you can see briefly where people are in each floor or whatever, but then you don't have it's a one-time use. But you know how many people in that building, and you know, for example, 2 guys are on the 2nd floor, 4 guys on the 5th floor, and it's gone. But you know, there's people in there.
before you enter a building instead of having grenades, for example.
Yeah, that's exactly like the Bloodhound scan in Apex, where you need
changing
multiple abilities like that.
You could also
like I've got a big
Hold on.
map changing feature.
You could also do a
One-
like, let's say there's like a
one at a
terminal in each floor, right? A different section, right? If you were to
Yeah.
hack a terminal to get intel on where people are
Yeah.
at, but the cost is that you
The
can't
blueprint
move from there,
of
you can't
the
see outside
building.
past the screen.
One person at a time.
Like you can't move from there, right? So that means you're out in the open or you're just exposed, and then you can't see past the screen, which means you're like you can't see anything. You have to rely on your teammates if there is a team, at the cost of using this like trying to get intel.
You know those
Yeah, that sounds good.
new
Yeah.
TVs? There's these new TVs, right? Where one side is glass and the other side is the TV.
Yeah.
So I just kind of want to bounce off that thing we were talking about with the reveal and stuff. My point with like a skill shot is ways it's been done right. I'm gonna use Sova as an example from Valorant. Like that, if you waste that shot, you get no intel, right? So, but if you get value out of it, such as a high skill player that maybe memorizes a spot or maybe knows how to shoot it more specifically to get better value, as we'd say, is that's where it's good. Like, I've always been a fan, and that's kind of one of the reasons I've always been a big fan of what Overwatch does with its design, is that it will here's your kit, here's what it does, but how to actually get value out of the ability makes the difference between a silver player and a GM player, because they know how to get the value out of it.
What do you think about this, man? Like you said, with what you're just talking about, right? Say you got like a crossbow bolt or whatever, or you shoot out something, right? If you actually hit someone with it, it tracks them for a certain amount of time. But if you don't, like,
that's what they do in Overwatch with Hanzo. Sonic arrow, if you hit it, it moves them.
Yeah.
And if you don't hit it, it just reveals the area around that instead. Is that what you saw? Is that
That's
what
exactly what Sonic arrow actually does in Overwatch.
Yeah, that's cool.
It lasts too long, in my opinion, but I think that something more like Apex, where it's like a scan, that would be cool. Where it just like says where everyone is.
You don't have to be bloody.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. The lady wants to say something. Hold on.
I lost my train of thought. Sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know. You were saying something about Apex and the scanning of the building. You were interrupted.
Sorry. I was just going to say on topic, but since we're just discussing like having scans and being able to do things like that, or being able to see through walls, should wall banging even be an aspect in the game? Like, do people find that fair?
To a certain extent, like.
Yeah.
I'd say like wood and some weak concrete I could understand, but like
if I'm getting shot through
a solid reinforced concrete wall.
No, that doesn't make sense.
No, thank you.
Here's a question. Something like a dynamic map, right? Where you don't have
That's
that
actually what I was
right now.
just about to say.
Hold on.
I was about to be like, yo, what if we just had a dynamic map, big geometry moving,
like think Battlefield Rainbow,
yeah.
I've actually worked
something.
on those maps in
The
Advanced Warfare.
the current guess on what this game is going to be a vertical BR in a giant building.
Oh yeah.
Go off of it. We've been going off of it like it's that. That's why all the EMP grenades, all of that.
Scale building based off the pictures. It's fucking massive.
There's also a train station. If we're going by that too, there's a train station.
Exactly. There's a city on top of this building.
Yeah. Each floor has a theme. Yeah.
What was
it?
The tracers? Oh yeah. So back on the tracer thing, like the motion sensor or something. I got something that would totally. I was thinking long and hard on a grenade that I haven't seen in a game besides like Monster Hunter, I think. But a grenade that explodes but doesn't hurt you. It just throws nothing but reactive glow. Like you could change the color, whatever suits your fancy, but it stays on that player for a certain amount of time, and it'll show on the ground where their footsteps were taking them. So you'd have to track them. And it'll only last for like maybe 10 seconds or something like that, and then they could like say they press a button, they could like kind of wipe it off or something like that, but it'd take time, and they probably wouldn't have that time because they'd be getting tracked.
I like that a lot.
Or it's like attached to your shield, and you have to like destroy your shield to get rid of it.
Or just a stim that overrides all that kind of stuff too, because those would be limited.
Doesn't.
Oh yeah.
I like. You know what I really like? I like
There's
the
so
idea
much
of some kind of
potential with
ping
this.
system, like a sonar,
Hold
right?
on,
You
guys.
ping, you ping the thing, and somebody else gets pinged, but you also get like the ping. Your location comes up too, but there should be limited time uses of decoy things. So if you know, like you're getting hunted, there's someone close by, or clutch situation, you've got like maybe I don't know 2 or 3 in the game, and you can put one in the other room. So you know if they come along and ping you. You know where they are, but they don't know exactly where you are, so they can't just shoot through the walls or whatever. It gives you a little bit of a chance there, but as long as it's a limited type thing, like
exactly
like a
what you're
sonar
saying.
type system.
We like what you're saying. We have an opportunity here to like create things that haven't been done. Like I want to see stuff that we have not seen in battle royales or in any shape, way, or form. Like, let's stop thinking just the military weapons. Let's get creative here. Let's come up with a new weapon, like a railgun or something, or like some kunais or something like that. Right? Let's get crazy. Right? That's what I'm excited about. Crazy within reason, obviously, but like. Let's not do what they're doing, Let's we're coming up with all these ideas. This is gonna be sick.
I agree.
We're not
with
doing
you.
what anyone's doing.
One thing I liked the idea for these grenades, so we can eliminate or even a drone that can scan the whole building. I like the idea that Kelsey talked about. Like for example, we have our own chip. For example, try to think you find a terminal, you can hack into a building, you can get the blueprint, and you can consult it during the whole match, that you can go back to it and you will see the structure of the building or the blueprint, and you could choose the better way out instead of just marking players around. That would be a nice feature to have, for example.
Yeah, that's the actually the idea I like the most.
And to
about the
compensate
scanning.
for like people camping those terminals, you can just put them
randomly
with a bunch of numerous of them. Right? So instead of being 1, 2, or 3 randomly, it's be like 10.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think Halo has such a charm to it just because it has like alternative weapons like the hammer, like energy swords.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I think we are onto something like what can we do outside of guns,
Like a katana, that'd be sick.
I would like a
railgun
spear type weapon. I think it'd be really fun.
Anybody here played? Now I'm interrupting people.
Go ahead, Tanner. You're good, man.
52 people. You're fine.
You're chilling.
Anyone played games that come to mind, like Ratchet and Clank or other games like that actually do have those crazy out of the box weapons?
Hours and hours into Ratchet and Clank. Oh my god!
Like the whatchamacallit, even the most basic, his wrench. You can you can use it for stuff and you can throw it and it comes back. Like thinking of melee weapons as like a core tool and a weapon is cool.
Mm-hmm. It's annoying. This is annoying.
As an idea,
Warframe does that.
So there's a thing called a laser musket. I don't know what games it's in, but it's like a musket, but a laser musket.
But a laser musket reloads must be like incredibly slow when you think about it.
That's true.
It'd be like that. Oh, go ahead.
So, what are your guys' thoughts on, like, before you even start, like, when you're searching for a map, like, having, like, a practice arena? Like, I don't know if you guys have played, like, Rocket League, but, like, while you're searching for a game, you can, like, practice, right? What are your thoughts on that?
Shooters. I loved firing range when that
Yesterday, we had a talk about that, like a pre-game lobby where you could either like proximity chat, talk to people, like do some things with other people. Or there's like an area with like a firing range, right, where you could practice your gun mechanics.
Yeah, that would be nice. Well, I was thinking more like, because I mean, if people don't like the idea of having like a central hub, like as you're like waiting for a match or whatever it is, or like as a main menu or something like that. Like if you just had like a practice range, those like Kovacs basically, and you're just like practicing your aim the whole time while you're waiting for a match. I feel like that'd be very, very like beneficial almost, like for a lot of people.
No doubt.
Just one thing. Just one thing to close.
Yeah.
Just to close the melee weapons.
just to close the melee weapons talk, I had an idea. What if we could have like a boomerang, energy boomerang, that could paralyze people for a second?
Or be like the EMP.
But the boomerang instead of it's like you see. Have you guys? Of course, you have seen Tron. They have these discs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine a boomerang that you could have in your leg or something. Yeah,
Tron boomerang.
To another variant.
That would make the game right there. I'd
you could throw to
take my
another
$50 right now.
He would be paralyzed or slowed in his
We're theory
capacities and
crafting
skills.
on the game now, still, right?
Yeah, we are.
Hell theory.
Yeah, I hope someone is writing this down.
Or Zero's in here, so I don't know.
I don't think he can hear anything right now.
No, he's deafened right now.
He was undeaf, and then he was actually unmuted for a while there. So
yeah, he was.
Black Ops 3, guys, does everyone remember one of the DLC weapons? It was like a pizza launcher, but it like would bounce the disc around the building. And if you got hit by the disc, you died. Obviously, we wouldn't want it to be lethal, but if that was like a gadget, like you had to have a skill shot with the geometry of the disc that bounces, and if it hits right, you maybe get stunned. Not stunned, but like something status effect based. Actually, that's another thing. How do we feel about status effect?
Like I said, if
All
you
right,
have
I'm
like
doing
an
another
energy
game
boomerang.
here. If anybody wants to join, you are welcome to join.
Yes, Artix, thank you.
That's the best way to
appreciate you, Artix.
keep away. Thank you. It's the best way to keep away from any of that nonsense in the
Is that
conspiracy
Artix
theory
right there? Hello,
I
friend.
haven't been looking.
Was it Artix? Wow.
Wow.
You guys should play some games with Artix sometime. You guys should watch Artix play Warzone. It's like when he yells at you, he yells.
Listen,
nobody else.
I competed in Counter-Strike for 2 years professionally.
You made me cry twice.
At the highest level. Okay. When you have to shift to Papega Warzone and just get people to fall in line, you learn how to identify strengths and weaknesses. You just have to apply them to your situation. That's all.
What was your team in CS?
We were Progressive Anarchy out of Tampa for MLG and Cal League.
Oh, MLG.
Well, it was MLG during the second year, which was when we swapped to Source, early Cal League. Well, late Cal League, I mean.
I work, my wife and I work for I guess X-Pro, one of the best female CS pros, Miss Harvey.
I remember that name.
Yeah, it works for CLG now.
Actually, last Monday, which was also my birthday, because I started on my birthday, celebrated 14 plus years of streaming.
Damn.
So, thank you. I didn't start on Twitch or JTV, but
what's your Twitch?
If you right click my name and left click on watch stream, it should take you there. But it's just Arctics. I've been on the Twitch platform for over 12 years now. But I didn't start on Twitch. I started on Xfire, which used to be
yes, dude.
Yeah. And then from Xfire, I went to Owned. I'm assuming that's you. Yeah, there it is, Tanner. Thank you.
Hey,
I went to Owned 3D. It was like the word owned and then a 3D at the end.
I remember.
And because I saw that Destiny was being signed and making money, and this is before anything major. Like Justin TV at this point was a bunch of NFL restreams.
Oh my God! Back when Destiny was also like the guy, and he was
the guy
playing piano.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Absolutely, he was the man. And so I went to Justin TV in 2009, and that's when I registered and started streaming and interacting with the community. And I've been here since.
Dude,
crazy.
He was like the angry Summit before Summit.
Yeah, and look, it's amazing because people don't realize when they see the guy and they see how he acts, like this is what that much time on Twitch does to you.
True. Yes.
Toki, thank you.
Enough, guys. See you tomorrow.
Peace.
Remember that clip?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're not heading out?
See you later.
No, Summit with I'll never forget the Molly.
That was golden.
Bro, that was so funny. He still gets teased about that to this date.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm getting off, guys. See you later.
Wait, what is that from? What is that from? Fill me in.
So, what was it? H1Z1?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was H1Z1, and some guy got him, and he just he railed back. And does everyone? Sorry, side note. Everyone remember the clip of Doc reacting to that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, he's like, he railed up for that, like, and he
was getting string sniped. He was getting string sniped on H1Z1. He
kept
got
getting,
mad.
okay, that's the context.
Yeah, because they were trolling him with the proximity chat, and he got mad. He punched.
Yeah, and then he just fucking railed it. He just punched it in right on the monitor, knocks the camera down. He's like, "I'm getting off, guys. See you later."
I remember
And
now.
Doc could watch it, and he was like, "Oh man." He just goes, yeah, and he's like, you ripped up for that shit.
Oh yeah, he fucking winded up and went.
You winded up all the way for that.
All the way.
Soon these moments are going to be happening in Midnight Society.
Who was the one most recently that asked me about the 3D assets for stream?
That was me. Haru Jones. What's up?
Did I run them for you yesterday or no?
No, you never did. You gotta you can DM them to me. DM me.
No. I'll just do it live. Because I'm gonna run them.
We'll do it live.
I'm gonna run the whole intro live. So.
Your intro and all that.
Yeah.
You're gonna show them off. Okay, gotcha.
I'll show them off now because it'll give me a chance to get a drink.
Oh yeah.
So
Gotcha.
Works out well for me.
Yeah.
Did anyone play Boss Keys game? Lawbreakers?
I did. I was actually part of the Lawbreakers launch.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Playback.
And I've got some Lawbreakers merch from them too. It was funny because it was around that time that I won the Tenertia competition, and they put me in their video game. So there's a model of me in this game called Tenertia, which is hysterical. It's cool looking, but Well, okay, I'm gonna run this intro stuff. I will catch you guys in a few minutes when it's done. If you guys want to see, you're more than welcome to join.
Appreciate you as always.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're amazing.
Stay frosty.
Yeah.
Bye,
Dad.
Everyone with this next question. So this has been a hot topic in the pre-variant comms. If anyone has been paying attention to that, and even I sort of weighed in on the situation. What does everyone think should happen if a Founders Pass member happens to just be completely inactive, doesn't contribute at all, kind of like sits on the sidelines and refuses to do anything to help the community? Not because they genuinely can, like circumstances, but they're just completely inactive.
They're better.
Absolutely nothing.
Unlikely to.
We can't do anything about that.
We can't do anything to them.
Yeah.
How do you track that? How do you track 10,000 people?
Oh, that's easy. Yeah.
There's ways, but so if it's okay, I'd like to go back to like the like grenades and stuff. So I heard an idea. For the EMP grenade I was talking about, remember?
Yeah.
Yep.
So yesterday I was talking about like a hack to turn off lights in an area. What if that said EMP grenade disabled the lighting system in like a certain area?
That'd be cool.
That's an
like what is
idea.
that? What's that like that game where you like hack into like lights and shit and you like turn them off?
Watch Dogs?
Ghost?
Watch Dogs, yeah.
Oh, I was gonna
if
say.
there's like an ability like in Watch Dogs.
Ghost
Sorry, that
Sniper
just
do
reminded me of that.
If you're gonna darken an
Be
entire
sus.
area, you're probably gonna need night vision for some players. So
Yeah.
that'd probably be a
That would be
thing.
an ops gadget. You know, we have to make
for
that
the visor.
decision to carry that gadget over something else.
Okay,
Yeah.
hold on a
And
second.
that would give flashlights on
That's a loadout right there.
actual use. In actual use.
What about it creates like a fog of war, so you can only see a specific amount of distance in front of you with that visor. So like, there could be a guy in the corner and you'll just walk past him because your field of view isn't that far in the forward.
The cipher of the game.
A cipher.
That'd be
See,
insane.
I want to have
That'd be insane.
the lasers that only come up on night vision. Like that's the kind of laser I want.
Yes, that
like
would be
that
so
would
sick.
that would just be a revolutionary thing to have. Just cause it's a real thing in real life. I don't know why it's never
I feel
been
like
in a video
I feel
game.
like then that would have to like for that to even like to be viable, like the game itself, the pace of the game would be slow. Which I'm not sure if everybody's okay with that, but like
Oh no!
I feel like for that to matter, you know what I mean?
Oh, I don't think Doc is gonna work on a very slow. Oh, I'm sorry, I spoke over somebody.
No, you're good.
We good.
No, for example, that wouldn't be okay for me. I'm very much on the. I want it to be fast paced. I want to carry a shotgun in one hand and assault rifle in the other, just running around.
This guy's crazy.
Screaming America.
Drinking Bud Light.
Oh, what I was gonna say is that so Tarkov is a very methodical, slow-moving game, and I was watching Doc stream a couple, probably 2 weeks ago. He was saying for the game he has in mind, it's not gonna be as slow as Tarkov. So maybe it's gonna be a medium to a faster-paced game.
I'm down.
I feel like it's just going to depend upon who's in the game and who's playing. But I mean,
I just want it to be a game where it's like your decisions, every minute decision results in some value towards your victory. Does that make sense? Like, if you opt to carry that versus that was a decision. If you don't play around your kit, right? There's a play style to be had for those decisions. Every play style, so like everything's viable to your play style, right? So if you choose a sniper, you're obviously risking close quarter combat, but you're obviously going to be very lethal at long range. So then you play around that, and if you play your cards right and play around that, you should win. Like that's what I am a big fan of. That's why I always love is those
that
decisions.
makes actually the game that makes the game suitable for every style of playing.
That's what I was thinking. Like loadouts, I don't think you should have like the loadouts in your lobby so much. You don't have to go and pick your loadout. I think when you go into the game, you should get like nanites or whatever, gather them, and go to like a station. And instead of dropping a loadout with all this shit in it, you just actually upgrade your suit, like, and have certain things in it that you pick, and that's what you got to stick with for that game. So it's not like, you can just change here, change there for everything. You sort of
wait. Can I ask a question? So you guys are all more interested in not having the option to change things up when you're in a match. You would rather it be
change things up?
No, I don't think you should be able to have.
Hold on. So what I'm hearing,
explain your point.
Asymmetrical combat is more fun, right? That's what I'm hearing, and everyone seems agreed. But when you're talking about loadouts, if you look at a game of PUBG or Apex right now, the asymmetry comes because of loot pools and what's on the ground. And what I'm hearing from you guys is you want to have loadouts that you predetermine, like in Warzone.
No. That's not what I meant, at least.
I don't.
Hold on, let the guy talk.
No. I was just going to ask, like, is the point... You keep saying, oh, yeah, if you pick a sniper kit, you play towards those strengths. But is your opinion that the loadout that you pick, you should be more or less locked into it the duration of the match? Or do you want it to be very easy to change so that if you leave a long...
on what I meant. So what I meant was more along the lines, you land, you're obviously, I'm not a fan of the loadouts in Warzone, so let me just specify that. What I'm a fan of is you can have your favorite play style, but you might not have control over that, and that's where the skill of adapting to whatever you find is. But if you are a good enough player, and this is just how every Battle Royale works, if you're good enough, you're gonna inevitably get the best stuff, or at least close to what you want.
Yeah.
By the
Most
end
definitely.
of the game.
Yeah.
So what I'm more along the lines saying is that if I get a sniper and I enjoy using a sniper and I play around that weapon, I should be fine. Unlike playing like back in the day, and just as Fortnite as an example, the Scar back in the day was the must-have weapon.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm more along the lines of saying I don't want. I want more along the lines of like Blackout. If you guys played Blackout, you could get away with everything. It came down to what you found. Like, I was a big fan of my go-to build was a Daemon with a sniper. And
the thing about Blackout, that game actually had an attachment system.
Yep, I liked Blackout personally. I am unfortunately in the minority of that, but
I thought it was a brilliant.
Hold on, one at a time.
I could change the perspective just a little bit. I like the ideas that are coming through right now. I just joined back in from playing another like little mobile games there with Architects, but I like where it's going. I think that being able to change at the beginning of a match or something, not to say a loadout, but be able to say like, oh, I want to be a really fast kind of guy. I want to play mid speed. I want to be a little bit slower and like really like a little bit more tactical. And then the weapons you pick up from the first sector, let's say, if we're still talking like that about the same kind of thing as like yesterday or the day before, walk into the first sector, I got like a super speedy kind of like rush mob kind of suit setup, you know?
Yeah.
Like I got my knees augmented, I got my feet, I got my little boosters or whatever, and then go into the first sector and be able to pick up those guns that I want, the loadout that I want based on, like, not that it's like all laid out there for you, but to be able to roll in there and just like, you know, gear myself up with shit like
Yeah.
SMG and a pistol and
Yeah.
a grenade, you
Let
know?
me touch up
So
on
on
that like
Hold on,
fast speed
hold
and
on.
stuff, man. I wish they would have seen this, but I was thinking about like the stim, but then also you know how in PUBG they have the not the painkiller, the adrenaline shot. I'd love it to be able to pop my buddy in the back with an adrenaline shot and have him have the full effects of it and just go buzzing on off like 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Like an octane shot.
Yeah, like pretty much
Yeah.
like there would be a select like amount you could probably have, like maybe 1 or 2, dependent upon like how long the duration would be.
Doesn't
Yeah,
that
to
go back
continue
to
on
the thing that? Sorry.
Greyface and me were talking about the other day is about having like some sort of like a power cell that stores the amount of energy that you need for, say, your gadgets or abilities, like we were talking about in the AMA, and how that, so say you have like 4 hits or 3 hits of energy, it can go towards, or even 5 hits of energy, it can go towards specific things and how many times you could use them. Like your speed boost could cost you 2, your revive would cost your whole bar of
Funny enough,
energy, you know?
Funny enough, we were talking about how there was like a hack system where it would be a scan and that would actually take energy from your visor earlier in the chat.
We could even call it an energy pool instead of a core or a visor or whatever. Yeah, like an energy pool. Like I get that.
Yeah.
Like it.
I'm looking for endless visor builds.
Dude,
Well,
I had like a sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
We've talked about that a lot, and the guys were talking about the weapons before. I think that in this beginning of the game, I think you should go in completely bare, no classes, no nothing.
Yes.
And then as you gather the stuff, you go to your build station, focus on your suit, and that will mainly focus on your energy weapons, whatever. And you can pick up guns, and you can get whatever gun you want, but you can build into, like, say you have heavy arms, which will help you, I don't know, shoot and quick. That will help you like close quarters, but you can't ADS very well, or what was I saying? Attachments will be the main thing. I think attachments should be the main thing. So you can play into your play style, pick your weapons, whatever, but you do play into a play style. So, like, you know, if you're fast and close quarter type style, you know, you'll be quick, but your arms will be heavy. You won't be able to ADS as quick, so you won't be good at long range engagements. But you can pick your style. You can change your weapons, but your attachments obviously you won't have. You can pick up a weapon later on, but it won't have all the attachments that you've gathered over the game. Like so you can't just keep swapping all the attachments between awesome guns. You can't just go from having the best AR and then go, oh, I decide I want to have the best sniper now. You sort of pick up things as you go, and then you sort of have to pick what you get as you go.
My thought process, along with what you were saying there with the crafting area, was if you went in knowing your exact loadout, and once you get to that loadout, you can't exactly, like you said, you can't go from the best AR to the best sniper. But if you got to that, if there was a specific part of the map where you could upgrade your AR, but like in Apex Legends, it would notify players around you that you're upgrading, and so it comes with that risk and reward where you get the increased damage or increased range on your weapon, but also notifies players that you are trying to get that like upgrade on your weapon.
Do you think this would be a universal upgrade position, like one that everybody could use, or would that be one like at the start, like only your squad out of, like, say 4 quadrants of a building would use? You know, like.
To be honest, that's a good question, because I'm not sure. It's kind of up to everyone's opinions. So if people wanted it to be per squad, or I mean, I guess it could be based on like how strong the upgrade were. So you could have one specific bit for the whole map that you could really upgrade, but for normal upgrades to your armor, it could be based on like your squad's area.
reason I ask is because a lot of people just camp loadouts, or camp revive beacons in Apex or whatever. Like they just camp those kind of spots that you need to go to be able to do it, and it cuts away from like being in a gunfight. These guys aren't trying to be in a gunfight; they're just trying to screw you over when you go and try to, bulk up or whatever.
That's where
that's one of the benefits of Vertical
come in.
Hello.
He's
back.
Sorry,
Hi. Change of plans. We're doing a puzzle, and this time we're using the 402 variant profile picture. So,
nice.
Oh my god, that's going to be so difficult.
Well, this one's better than the other one because I was gonna do Rat Boys, but look, you see how many?
Don't do that one.
Yeah, I was like, no. So I chose the 402 one.
No, it's not Rat Boy.
Is Rat Boy in here?
No, I'm just saying it in case someone goes and tells him I said don't do his picture.
Oh yeah. Sorry, dude. You rolled low on the weather and background.
That's funny.
So,
GG's on the puzzle. I can't communicate.
You can't do it? I think you can.
I can, but I can't communicate game ideas and use my brain in that capacity, and then also try to put together a 1,000-piece puzzle on a phone that the pieces are like 4 millimeters thick.
Oh boy!
So I chose a quicker puzzle because I didn't know how many people would be here. So this is only a 300 piece.
You'll get on the next
that's
one.
too easy. Come on.
Yeah, you gotta.
I mean, I could change it. I could do a 600 one. All right, hang on.
Yeah, 6 at least.
All right. Let me redo the puzzle. False alarm, people. All right, let's try this again. Custom puzzle.
Sorry. Someone was about to say something.
Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt somebody. Sorry.
Okay.
What would you guys say if melee builds were actually viable? So fully melee builds.
Okay.
What builds? Sorry, mate.
Melee build?
Melee.
Oh yeah, melee.
So no.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. Like a tank
I don't want
melee
it in the
build.
sense that Call of Duty's doing. I'll say that.
No, not in that capacity. Cali.
Oh yeah, no, there's not going to be none of that like
Quick
10-foot
question.
reach.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. But
Quick
No,
question,
I think there
guys.
should be.
Does anybody know? So, I just tried using a command with the bot, and it's telling me to re-verify. If I re-verify, is that going to screw me?
No, it shouldn't.
Re-verify?
I mean,
yeah, because I got my my verification number, right? Like, ideally, won't that just give me a bigger verification number and then kind of screw me in the long run? Or?
I think the bot just might be on a acid trip because it's been getting
why is
spammed.
it telling me? I was variant too, bro. I don't want to verify again.
Wait, so so should I not verify again?
Well, yeah, there's a verification as well. No, because I'm guessing he's checking his loadout or something. Maybe.
Yeah, I was
trying to do
the
sector 1
command.
and saying I need to verify first, but I've
Yeah,
already
that's what it
been.
said
Oh
for me
no,
too.
so that's happened before. Like what's the name lost their claw roll and had to go back there. You should be fine. It's not gonna give you a different number.
It's not?
No, because it's linked to your Discord account. Like I've literally had to re-verify before. So.
Okay.
Yeah, it's saying the same thing to me.
Happy
so
days.
it looks like everyone's.
Does someone want to verify real quick?
Absolutely not.
I just did verify it. Say, please use the verify command first.
Unverified and you're worried about losing your airdrop or your verification number, you can DM Brexton or not DM, but tag Brexton or Nikolai, right, to fix it for you.
Yeah.
But honestly, it might just say error that you already verified it realistically.
I think mine's just backlogged, to be honest.
Like if it's really an issue and you're really like, hey, I don't want to have to re-verify and lose all my stuff, just tag Nikolai or Brexton.
I just did that in tech support.
2 days.
The bot has been up and down. It's all over the place right now.
I was having an idea about
at the moment.
I was having an idea about the melee. See how people don't want to get killed by melee because it's kind of cheesy, right? But what if say for your suit, right? You only get 5 upgrades throughout the game. You can go whatever route you want, but one of them could be for like your hands, right? Say you can't with melee, you can't penetrate a shield and just like cheese someone instantly with Kelly sticks. But if you sacrifice 1 or 2 of your points, you can get like a weapon that like comes out of your hand like a blade, like the Protoss in StarCraft, right? Something like that that is able to penetrate shields and can kill them in 2 hits, right? But it sacrifices a lot for that. So it really plays into your play style. It's not just, I'm going to equip Cali sticks and then drop them later. Like you sort of, if you're going for that style, you know,
you got to stick with it.
So
all right, so I don't have to interrupt you guys anymore. I posted it in the in the social self promo channel. Most recent post by me has instructions on how you can join the puzzle, or you can join my stream and type !puzzle, or follow the instructions in the conspiracy chat, and we'll see you in the puzzle. I'll be here in the chat though, just listening.
Puzzle time.
But at the same time, same time as you have that. Sorry.
Oh, one more thing, guys. I'm gonna cut y'all, brother. The picture that he has for the puzzle, like, is that in the actual website? Or is that was just
it's part of the last. It's part of the last. One of the last Twitter posts that Midnight Society posted, where it showed a little video of a bunch of like guns and gear changes and backgrounds, and he screen grabbed like almost everything.
Possibilities. That is fucking fire, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Possibilities are gonna be amazing. You can hate on something this fly, like, I don't know, man. Anyway.
Okay, so I found a good.
I don't understand it.
The puzzle.
I found a good
fucking fire. I'm like, what?
I found a good reference of that like EMP grenade.
EMP.
One more thing, just before we stop
currently
talking
playing the
about,
game
I know
right
you want
now. Yeah, what's
sorry. I know you want to talk about that thing. Just let me talk about this thing again, the melee thing, right? And say, for example, see how I was talking about the melee thing with the handheld like lightsaber thing that comes out your hand or whatever that you can build into. Someone should also be able to build into, say, if you want like shield resistance from melee weapons. So melee weapons aren't just a thing that someone uses here or there. It's like a big part of the game too. But not a huge part, but just a different style. You know what I mean? Like, and where you can build resistance to that if you want, because that's a part of the game too. It's not just you see 1 or 2 dudes in Warzone use Cali sticks. It should be more of a part of the game, but you have to decide if you want that.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. More of like shields for bullets, and like, let's just say like not so much armor, but like heavier gear set. Be able to compensate for the melee damage that you're taking.
Yeah, because if you've got a particular play style and you're getting killed by a certain type of person, say you're a ratty type of dude, right? You might want to build into melee resistance because you're ratting it up in the house, but then when you're out in the open, you're gonna get you're not gonna have your points in another thing that would benefit you outside. So like it's more complementing your play style type of thing that that.
That's coming from. Sorry, go ahead.
Balance that out. Like, you guys would just need the melee weapons to be based off of the 3, 2, whatever, like similar armor types, right? So kinetic melee weapon and energy melee weapon, right?
Yeah.
It should do minimal damage to your shield, well, in a sense, right? Not minimal, but like less damage, obviously, than a gun to your shield, depending on what kind of melee weapon it is, to whatever shielding that you're using. And instead of
imagine
having,
if you had a melee
for melee, you don't have to. You don't have to worry about that. You just have to like, oh, am I wearing appropriate shields for this type of weapon overall? Because if you're gonna have to swap between like, oh, I might get meleeed in this building, let me just swap my kit out to like defend against that. Like, I feel like it's a lot of effort when you can just be like, oh, I have specific armor against energy weapons overall. I'm
going to just bring something up too. Like, in that little video from the Twitter where it shows all the different guns and that kind of shit, and you see one of the first images you see is a bat and you see an axe. Is that just going to be like that, potentially just be what your character's wielding, and like it's not necessarily going to be something that you're going to be picking up off the ground or whatnot?
I think
I don't think so.
The game itself is like very, very bare bones. I don't think there's really an idea for like what the game's gonna be. I think that's all gonna come from us. I think that a lot of people are having trouble like really understanding that. I feel like the game's like really like at day zero. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think there's an idea of how everything's gonna kind of like work, but I don't think there's like a set theme. I mean, except for maybe Dr. Disrespect, the theme he kind of has going on there.
That's what we're here for.
Well, if you compare it to the ARG, right? Everything compared to the ARG, right? Like,
that's
if you
the best
the weapons, to compare it to, because that's realistically what they're going to be hoping.
Well, what about?
compared
No, yeah, of course.
But like they have,
I mean,
like
everything's
you're getting two tapped in the dome. Like it's pretty fast dying. Like there's no, you get hit, you go down. It's instant. You get hit once, you're dead. Like that's
yeah.
Hey, hold on. Is that what they said they're gonna do, or is that just
no.
No,
It's in relation to what they're making, anyways.
I was
They
about to
already
say,
said
yeah,
they already said that they have an idea.
It looks
and
like
that they're gonna have the final word. So
yeah, because based upon like the art, it looks like it's gonna be kind of like Apex, where there's shields and stuff. Based upon like the little because if you look at, I'm not saying like there's gonna be shields, but it kind of looks like it, right? Because even at like the art, the art for the blue skull hooded one that homie just posted.
402.
402. Yeah, that looks like some shields around him. You see those hexagons around him? Those hexagons around the character model. It looks like shields. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
could be camo, could be camo, could be camouflage.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, but
I mean, if you take into
Cloaking.
consideration what the dog's been doing the last few months and what games he's been playing and what kind of stuff he's been into and has been liking lately, I think for most, I think his idea of the game is a tactical shooter, definitely. So the shooting parts and stuff like that should be pretty realistic, I think, because if you noticed when he's talking about PUBG and stuff like that, the thing he liked most about that game is the shooting, and it's really realistic. So there's bullet drop and there's all of that stuff. So I think that part of the game, I think Doc has a bit clearer vision of what he wants. But
more of like what Cyberpunk did, right, with their guns, kind of like where it's futuristic, but it's not like it's still grounded within our.
I mean, if you take into consideration what we had in the ARG, we had a G36C and Scar H and stuff like that. So those are real weapons, and yeah.
Well, they could also be placeholder names as well. That's what we were saying earlier. They could just be placeholder names. That's the way we were using it as.
Exactly, or they could be modeled around those guns. Like they could probably like model sci-fi gun around the AK.
In a Twitter post, you can see an MP5, you can see an L96 sniper, you can see like
specific weapons on all that.
very specific weapons on that little video.
I mean,
If you
like
pause
what-
and freeze frame it,
I think it's gonna be a kind of a mix with futuristic style and the real weapons and stuff like that. I don't know, but
COD does kind of like what COD does with like a Blackout 4, was it, where you have futuristic guns, but they're based upon real ones, but you can tell like. You know what I mean? They're not the same, right? They're different.
You can still tell the base of it, right? And M4,
yeah. But I wouldn't say they.
I agree.
100%.
I agree with. Sorry, I agree with the tactical shooter element, but I don't think it's going to be anywhere near the speed of Tarkov or even Psycho Frontier that people have been streaming because the beta
it's gonna
dropped.
be a lot
It's still
faster,
going to be a lot faster. I don't know, like it's hard to say like Counter-Strike because that's like a straight up tactical shooter, you know, and like the bullets are weird and everything's weird to me because I like physics as well, just like PUBG. But you know, Doc's roots are in multiplayer game, like multiplayer Call of Duty and shit like that, you know, like it's just action. I'm not talking like the Vanguard. I don't know if any of you saw the video where he was like go, and then he died. Go. It's not.
That was funny. Yeah.
That was great.
If I had to put money on it,
that was so funny.
It was fucking hysterical. But he
Go, dead.
Like,
go, dead.
Yeah,
it was funny.
If I'm a betting man, guys, it's probably gonna be like Titanfall, like Apex Titanfall-esque in terms of just like the mobility or not even mobility, just like the feel of it, right? The feel of like, you know, the TTK, the time to kill will be similar because I'm going based upon aesthetics, right? Aesthetically speaking, if I were to look at the game, what we have so far, I'm thinking more of that because I can't see them doing like you said, a Tarkov. I can't see them doing like a Modern Warfare where you just die pretty quick. Like kills super.
See, but I feel like that's half of what their answers were today in the AMA was that the questions that we're asking are so beyond the point that we're actually at. So like you speculating on, I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm just saying speculating on the imagery and everything like is good, but I don't think we're anywhere near, like I don't even think they've gotten to that point. And that's
100%. I don't think so either. I don't
those
think
are
so.
the
I'm
things
just
that
saying,
we're
like,
gonna be
Yeah,
figuring
yeah.
out. So it totally could be
Yeah.
like Tarkov, or it could go the totally opposite direction.
It's also more the way I say it.
Although
The way I say it is
I
just
think
Doc's preferences.
kind of-
Like, look at what Doc plays. Like, Doc wants to make a game that he wants to consistently play as well, and you can see his comments and streams.
Like
And
we
if
need to
you
think
like,
bigger.
if you look at like old Call of Duty too, like Doc used to love like the 4v4s, like
Well,
old school Doc, like
No.
all the strategic plays. Like he wants comms in whatever game he
Doc
developed.
Doc is
proximity chat
one of the
too.
biggest. He's
Dude,
one of the biggest
proximity chat
contributors.
is
Oh my god.
My favorite game mode, Squad Rush.
Yeah,
that shit was the bomb. The bomb.
Squad
Yeah,
Was that in
I feel like
Battlefield
he
3,
wants
Battlefield
something
4.
that
Oh,
has
oh.
all the speed of like a typical, you know, battle royale, but like you still have to have a lot of strategical play to it.
Yeah.
And I mean, all the 4v4s or all the, you know, I mean, it just seems like that's something he'd want to include in this.
Well, like I was saying, like Doc was very involved with the Call of Duty competitive scene during Advanced Warfare. He's very passionate about something that's gonna be competitive, but once again, like we spoke about earlier, not make it so much where we split the base. You know.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
they do have a competitive vision at least. 'Cause
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know. Have you guys read their Twitter posts answering questions before anything else happened? Way before all this. Like,
No.
they are targeting esports. That's the goal. They do want that competitive scene.
I did in the AMA. I did ask a question about if they didn't answer it because I mean, once again, we're probably way before the time. But in the AMA, I asked and if there was any way in the competitive scene that they thought about possible models where with the NFTs they could pay out competitive players for tournament winnings or any of the like. I'll look for the post, but someone else can chime in on it.
So as far as like the whole
trigger a
NFT
lot of
things
people with
go,
that.
like it's very interesting because if you guys remember, like Doc played in that PUBG tournament where they gave out those exclusive pans. You know what I mean? Like for the whatever tournament he played in. That was exclusive to his account. The fact that they're making it an NFT and tradable, and that whole market. I mean, you can label it an NFT, but this is something gamers have been doing for the longest of time. Like
Or
we've
make accounts
been
and sell it. Yeah.
Exactly, man.
Make
Like
an
I
account
used to
and
do
sell it,
this when I
yeah.
was like 16, 15 years old playing MMOs, like making an account and then selling it with exclusive items. So
Yeah, we've been doing that. Yeah.
Like how many people?
so
How many people?
We still do it now with Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah.
Black Desert Online. And that's why I understand where like all the worries about, because it's like, I mean, this is better. It's a better deal. Now you can directly do this. You ain't got to go through
and it's
other
safer.
avenues.
It's safer.
Yeah.
Like
Safer,
I mean,
yeah.
over the years, I mean, millions of dollars have been lost by people getting scammed by this stuff. Now it's tied to a physical wallet, and you have actual deals being done, not just like he said, she said through PayPal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
And I've literally spent hundreds of dollars on Warzone Modern Warfare. I bought like all like
Thousands.
the best skins.
Thousands.
I'm probably in
Yeah.
the thousands by now too, to be honest. But I spent so much
But
money
what's
on
wrong
Cold
with
War,
baby?
Warzone, Modern Warfare.
Listen, my argument about cosmetics in Call of Duty is that you waste so much money. Like, if you don't play Warzone and you only play the base game, you waste so much money in that year, and then the next game it doesn't carry over. So everything you had in the previous game is gone. You know.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the best
But
way you
now
can
it
because
matters.
you waste it. You basically
now it
waste
matters.
it.
I'm gonna chime in real quick. If anybody wants to do like a promo for themselves, I'm gonna be cutting the stream. We'll take turns. If you want to go say something like link or Twitter, anything, go for it.
What?
Okay.
Oh, careful with that option.
I don't mind. I don't care.
Question mark.
Promos. Who would
Yeah,
do
like
that?
if they want to say something.
Oh man, I'm a normal guy, normal
know?
human. I'm just here for this.
Are you streaming this,
Yeah.
Arum?
Yes, sir. For 3 hours and 42 minutes.
This entire chat.
Fuck yeah.
At least
good.
it's documented.
Oh wow.
There's a lot of
part of the
nuggets
cast.
of gold in this chat. I'll tell you that much.
Cozy's missing out on the puzzle, baby.
Am I missing on the puzzle? Oh,
You're missing
it's
out
solid.
on a
We're half-
4-0.
we're halfway over,
Cozy.
It's
You're
solid
missing-
blue. What am I supposed to do with that? Look at that puzzle.
You're missing out on the.
Well, look at all
the
these
chat.
hands in here, man.
I will.
Should've
I
done
will
1,000
join
people.
when
Come
I'm
get
when I'm
catch some hands.
crazy.
Well, since
I
no
getting
one's doing a promo, I'm going to say go to Arctic/.tv Twitch and go check them out. Give them a sub or a follow.
Yeah. Do it. Do it.
Okay, we need to take it up with 402 about the use of the stupid hexagon effect because it's
Wait.
impossible to solve on a puzzle.
Dude, wait, what's going on in this corner? Do you see this corner? What the hell is this?
Hey, move it. There's a puzzle on top. Just move it. Click it. Click it.
I'm trying to. There ain't nothing moving.
Oh, there's a space.
It's together
right
on
there,
my
too.
screen.
Oh, it's together on. Wait, really? Okay, dude.
Arctic, I think you're going crazy.
Now, wonder this shit's harder. I'm playing New Game Plus. What's up?
If you'd like,
half a
guys,
space to the left is free.
Dude,
I'll get my own shout out for Arum.
I'm kind of
what's up?
famous, so like if you could check out TacoBell.com, you know.
Hell yeah, go to TacoBell.com.
Man, of all the tacos, you went with Taco Bell, bro.
I mean, I don't know, you know.
Taco truck.
That's how you go.
Don't forget.
That's a good choice. That's a good choice.
Yeah.
Taco Bell is not bad. Wait, which
I'm
one?
gonna do my own shout out,
Taco
guys.
Bell.
Follow
Good
Cozy
choice.
on Twitter.
Taco Bell's not
Follow me
bad.
on Twitter. That's all it is. Yeah.
There's some good ones there.
I'd like to give a special shout out to Space Bob and make sure to
SpaceBob,
join
yep.
the cult.
Oh yeah.
Don't follow
And
SpaceBob on
Church.
Twitter. That's just
Yeah.
Craziness Gaming making a Twitter because he got hyped over SpaceBob and is now tweeting like he's SpaceBob. So
All hail
Jeez.
Space Bob.
yeah, I like that.
Word to the Space
Wait,
Bob.
so hang on. Now I need to know, Lola, what's your favorite thing at Taco Bell?
Chicken quesadilla.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. You can't argue with
Dorito.
that.
Fine.
Dorito all the way.
I'm not gonna lie, I would not turn one down.
Also,
Take
can
me some cinnamon
Turtle
twists.
just calm down. On,
Mexican pizza.
I'm never gonna be able to beat Turtle.
Dude, Turtle's insane. When we were doing the Jackbox games, he was dominating there too. It was crazy.
Oh shoot, we get scored on this?
Gotta do that again sometime.
I had
soon.
no
Be right
idea.
back. Oh.
Good to see you in here again, Greyface. By the way, I was wondering what.
Hey,
happened.
who's that
It's been a
speaking?
while. It's before anyone.
Oh, before anyone, hey man, yeah, no, sorry, I've been taking a bit of time off. I've had a kid and everything. Like my kid's a
Congrats.
couple of months old, so just
Congratulations.
Nice.
yeah, I've been real
That's a
busy with him.
Yeah, that's a busy time.
Let's
man.
go.
Congrats though.
Progress.
I've hardly touched the computer like Warzone. I've hardly touched anything really at all. Just playing a bit of League at night time with my best mate, and that's about it, man. But yeah,
Priorities, man.
Yeah, because I know
Hear
that this
ya.
thing in here was like quite time consuming, and when I get into something, I get right into it. You know, I give it 110%. And I just couldn't get stuck into it right now, so it's just like
46 hours in chat. It's about
Well, I
25
was-
minutes.
yeah. Well, I was on the day that the Midnight Society come out and thing. I think I was on there for 2 days. I couldn't sleep. Like I just wasn't tired.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
I remember that.
I'm with you there, man.
God, dude, we were all up for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. It was super exciting, and it still is. But yeah, I just like I said, priorities, man. You know, it's just one of them things. Once you get into it, it's hard to get out. You know.
Yep.
It was bleeding G Fuel
Yeah.
all them days.
No, I'd like to.
Yeah, good
I'd
to
like
see
to
you too,
continue.
man. How you been?
Good man. I got some rest. I went to the grocery store today. Had a nice sandwich thanks to Artix's Cuban sandwich he had yesterday and passed out. Except I didn't fall asleep. I just stayed up.
A Cuban sandwich? What's that? What's a Cuban
It's a
sandwich?
It's kind of like a upscale grilled cheese that
Mm.
Cubans
Oh,
make in Cuba,
a
and
little
it's
bit
really
fancy
like
then.
prevalent.
Damn,
It's really
pulled pork.
prevalent in
what do you put a
Florida
little
because there's a lot
umbrella?
of
Pickle, mustard. What the heck is the ham? Is it ham?
Yeah, ham
It's
and
ham,
pulled
isn't it?
pork.
Ham and something.
Ah, so you
Sam
talk,
I am.
you're talking about a
Onion,
ham. You talk
like that.
in Australia, we call that a ham
And you
sanger.
shove it on a panini press.
Kind of like a cheese toasty, except together.
Oh yeah,
You-
toasted ham sanger, rightio.
Yes. Oh, where are you at? Are you in Australia?
Yeah, man, East Coast,
Okay.
baby. No,
What's
Sydney,
the
man.
ham sanger? I referenced
Sandwich.
like a
That's what we
British.
call a sandwich. Everything we've got, there's a slang for it.
Toast.
Like it's a sanger, a toasty. You know, everything there's a slang
Like a
for.
sanger, man. I like that.
Yeah, it's a sandwich.
We start
Sanger.
using it.
I like a sanger, man. Well, I called sandwiches sang, like SANG, just sang. like with my son
Yeah,
and
we
some
got
like a
Sanger.
tight close
Yeah,
knit of friends or
It's like
whatever.
when you go to your mate's house. Hey, bros, make us a bloody Vegemite Sanger, eh? Oh, yeah. Want a cup of tea? Yeah, bro. You know?
Vegemite. I heard that stuff was gross.
Oh, bro. You
It
don't know.
depends which one you get, honestly. Like, if you get the expensive one, you're getting quality. But if you get, like, one of those, like, half-assed, like, you know, like $4 pack, it's probably going to not taste so very well.
Well, I could say this about Vegemite. Don't do what Tom Hanks did and put a spoon in and then try and say, oh, this is gross. You got to have plenty of butter. And you don't mix it in, right? Some people like to get the butter and the Vegemite and they mix it in and it's all the same consistency. Like you want a little bit of a chunk here and the rest kind of thin. And it's kind of like a lucky dip when you have it. You don't know which bit's going to be the real tasty bit. You're, you know? And then, like, it's a surprise every time. It's, you know, it is nice. It's not for everyone. Even some people here obviously don't like it, but no, it is. If you know how to eat it, it's
deep
nice.
umami with quite a bit of salt. I get it.
Oh, yeah.
I understand it 100%.
You ain't lived till you've tried a veggie burger with ghost pepper sauce on that.
Oh,
You know what I'm
yeah.
jealous
Oh,
of
I love a bit of
Australia?
chili, man.
Is that you guys have finger limes growing naturally there.
Sorry, what? A finger lime? What's that?
It's like, what?
You live in Australia, man. A finger lime is
finger
like
lime?
it almost looks like a it's hard to say. It looks like an okra, if you know what an okra is, or a really small
okra's
pepper.
great. Fried okra.
If you split it open and squeeze it, these little tiny little balls that look like caviar are actually lime.
That's crazy.
So you can get them out
Man.
without them being juicy. It's just like, but when you eat it, it pops in your mouth a little bit, and the lime like comes through. They're super nice, man.
Damn.
They look beautiful on top of a dish too.
God, I'm so
Yeah,
fat.
that's crazy. They grow naturally in Australia.
I had no idea, man. I'll have to try that. What's it called again?
Finger lime. There's another name for them as
Finger
well.
limes.
I don't recommend Googling that.
Yeah, no, do not.
Finger limes.
Is that something weird?
Who knows in this day and age?
Oh, you can Google that.
Try it and let me know
when you're older.
We'll see.
He's all like
You take the-
Googling finger lime. He's like, finger lime.
Take the lime and you put it in the coconut and you mix it all up.
Shake it all up. Yeah.
The coconut.
Sing that to me.
Butter's hand.
All right.
No, yeah, we're flooding at the moment though, man.
Oh,
Queensland,
shit.
we've got Mac. Yeah, some places in Queensland right now, you've got McDonald's. You know how you have the big sign that's going up? Well, the M is barely sticking out of the thing. The entire buildings are underwater. Right, it's really bad. It's supposed to be like a 1 in 100 year flood, right? We've had 2 of them in the past bloody.
Oh, y'all can't make up your mind.
15
One
years.
minute you're on fire, one minute you're flooding. Damn
Yeah, last year
apocalypse
they-
over there.
There's a
Last
reason it was
year-
a prison island.
Yeah, well,
Where
that's
is,
right. Our first
where is it?
first
Where's
police
the flood
force was
happening?
made at the Queensland, East Coast. We've got a rain bomb. We've been raining almost non-stop for the past month, nearly.
Wow.
And it's only just the past few days it's cleared up, and it's looking like it probably could go into April.
I love how
Yeah,
you're like,
and-
it's a prison island. He's like, right, mate. Sure is.
She'll be right, mate.
She'll be all right.
Yeah.
Let's start somewhere.
Holy
That's why we
shit.
always bloody getting into trouble, man. Because everything, she'll be right, man. Oh, man, you look like you're probably going to fall off. Nah, she'll be right. It's just our mentality, man.
Who's green handing me? Who's giving me signals here with this green hand?
We got another saying, mate.
you know
Don't
who
let
it
fear
is.
hold you back, you know? It's just.
My cat just sneezed like 5 times in a row.
Gesundheit, cat.
I know. I get worried sometimes. It's a lot of heartbeat stops.
Man, that building that I posted a picture of, I'm pretty sure some people saw it. I know Cozy did and a few others. That building that's getting built beside me, it's nighttime now and the lighting is on and shit. It looks fucking crazy, man. I literally look out my balcony every day and I like think about verticality in the new game.
Did it reset you too? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm at 15. Oh,
It's the
it
second
reset
time
all
I've
of you
been
but me.
reset.
Let's go.
Okay.
I honestly don't know why I did that. I'm
Rig.
sorry.
Well, I guess we can beat Turtle now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
He'll come back.
Turtle's like, the day is mine.
Yo, Rat Boy apparently an hour ago showed
Yeah.
his.
Yeah, it was posted in the
That's
Conspiracy
sick.
theory
Disco
channel.
too, yeah.
Nikolai doesn't have his
Although that's
yet, and I'm so
self-promotion.
happy about that.
Come on, Ghost.
Here, I'll take another picture and show you what I'm talking about.
All right. Anybody want to do what do you call it? Shout out for themselves or anything before I get out and skedaddle?
Join Midnight Society.
Oh yeah.
Midnight Society, doctor.
If I get one more ping about trying to help people with the claw sign up,
Yo, dude,
I'm gonna say
I got 15 messages this morning, bro.
Every 60 seconds, a minute passes.
That's crazy.
Does it?
Well done.
Or is time just an illusion?
No, you're lying
Every
to me.
7 days,
You can't trick me.
another
Daylight
week
savings.
has passed.
White hand, let go of that piece. I know where it goes.
White hand, damn it.
Oh wait, me?
Every 24 hours, another day starts.
How do you change your hand color?
At the very top, if you go to the cogwheel,
Change name.
you can
Alright.
change your name and your hand
I'm
color.
gonna. I'm
Y'all
gonna head
have a
off, so I
good
hope
night
all you guys-
or morning,
Oh,
depending
we're
upon where
Hey,
you're
Arum,
at.
you heading out, man?
Oh yeah, I am.
Stay frosty.
Oh
Good
yeah.
night, man.
I actually
later,
love
my
the
dude.
cold, so that's a perfect analogy.
True.
All right.
All right, man. You have a great night.
You too, brother. Keep the stream live.
Yeah, yeah.
Later.
Good night, mate.
Do it live.
We're doing it live. Fuck it.
Fuck it. Peace.
One thing that don't make sense to me, I'm surprised.
All right. I want to thank you for coming by. Hope that you enjoyed the stream. And also, sorry I haven't been on for much long. It's been a lot of life stuff going on, but hoping to get the podcast starting to go again, and we can get it more on a routine, and we can get more information going out about what to do, what's going on in the game development, and pretty much anything that would really benefit you as my viewer. So hit that like, hit that bell. Also, hit that subscribe. It's completely free. You ain't got to pay for it. Hope you have a great rest of the night / or morning, depending upon where you are. Don't forget to play games for fun. This is Arum signing out. Peace.